Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. We're here. Got Nick. Wait, there. Got Nick. Got me. We're still working on getting stuff ready for the actual podcast, but I wanted to say hi. And since Nick and I are both Californians, I was explaining to him something that my neighbor is asking me questions about rice because he's not a baking type person, but he made something last night and brought some over for me that I have yet to try. I'm going to eat it today after the show. That he's from Florida, so he's from the South, and he said, "I'm making. Do you have an 8-inch pan? I'm making a Hoppin' John." And I'm like, I have two answers for that. One, yes, and two, what the fuck is Hoppin' John? And he's like, "Oh, you never heard of that? It's a Southern thing. It's you make it with, it's like made with ham hocks and rice and black eyed peas and something else, and it's supposed to eat it on the new year for good luck." So he's asking me questions about rice, and he's talking about, well, he said, "Last night I was trying to figure out why the rice always goes from al dente to mush in about 15 seconds, and I realized when Mom made this dish, the rice didn't split like this does. She used normal rice. There weren't many choices back then, and I used the only non-Uncle Ben's normal rice I've seen out there. Is this the kind of rice that's the problem?" And I'm like, "What do you mean by normal? Because Uncle Ben's is instant rice. And then there's other rice of many different kinds." But I'm trying to figure that out. So have you ever heard of Hoppin' John?
No.
Anybody in the chat room ever heard of Hoppin' John? Yes, the cat has appeared, bitters. Of course the cats appeared. Nick was just saying that the cats were out cold until you sat down and started talking, and then they both woke up and were like, "Oh, we need to go see Daddy because Daddy's on the air." Hey, we got Happy New Year to Blood Reaper. Happy New Year to you, bitters. We're still waiting for AC Wraith. I've got some good news for AC Wraith. I'm waiting for him to show up. How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
They were both good.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you get anything interesting?
Yeah. Got some games. Got a cool. Rachel got us like a kind of it's something we can do over the summer. Not something to do now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like a scavenger hunt in the city.
It's not the, was it Chinese New Year scavenger hunt, is it?
No.
Because I used to do that 20 years ago. It was an annual thing with me and my best friends. We would do the Chinese New Year. I mean, it's a big fucking event.
Okay, no, it's not an event. It's like a service or something.
You know what? Maybe we should do that this year, Nick, if they still have it. Here's the thing about the San Francisco Chinese New Year scavenger hunt is it happens on the same day as the Chinese New Year parade. And it is all over the fucking city. And here's the thing. It starts before many hours before the parade starts. But it's on the two different, San Francisco is bisected on that day almost entirely, at least the downtown area, bisected by the parade. So you have to plan your route and get your clues very quickly, because if you don't, you might be caught on the wrong side of the city and can't get past it because of the parade. So it becomes like a scavenger hunt, but it's timed, and it's like a scavenger hunt. Like imagine if you had a scavenger hunt in a town and there was a train coming through the town, and if you didn't stay ahead of the train, you didn't finish. That's what this is like. And it's hella fun. There are literally like running teams that will do it, but we never ran, but we had to like pull out a map, and back in the day when we had paper maps, pull out a map and try to figure out, okay, we need to get across this street because we know that, and we'd have like people calling and letting us know where is the we actually, it was before even cell phones, so we couldn't even call. We would have radios that would, somebody was watching the parade to let us know where the front of the parade was, so we knew we had to stay ahead of the parade if we needed to get across the other side of the city. It was pretty fun. And of course, we never all the way got through it. Eventually, we would be like, okay, we're tired. Let's go to North Beach and get some pasta and drink a bunch of wine and then wander home on BART. It's super fun.
That sounds like it'd be
It's
cool.
good for like a good, I mean, we'd have anywhere between 10 and 12 people do it all together in our group, and we'd split up too. So like 5 people would go to this one and 5 people would go look for this clue and 5 people go look for the other clue. So yeah. Oh, I have to add. There is so much news to talk about. I mean, I didn't really.
Really? Okay, good. Because I was
Really?
not following anything the past 2
Oh
weeks.
God. I mean, I haven't even I didn't even bring up a bunch of stuff because I figured you'd have it, like John Carmack leaving Meta.
That was the only news story I had because it
Good.
happened before I left on vacation.
Good. All right. So I've got a few.
But
I mean,
also I barely remember any of it.
so let's see. What do we got? I need to add
Oh, right. I need to add that game. I completely
yeah,
did not talk about Pentiment.
games I played. Was it? That's it. Okay. I don't want to blow it. And blow the surprise of what I played. So is AC Wraith in here? Because I got some good news. Hey, congratulations! Happy birthday, Blood Reaper. I just had mine. I actually did not get any Christmas presents because I really didn't do anything on Christmas. Actually, I take that back. I went to a Christmas brunch and I got a box of chocolate. But I had a lovely time. But my birthday, my neighbor bought me sheets. And I have been
Okay.
on a quest for most of my adult life looking for the perfect sheets. And we had talked about, and he's like, oh, the perfect sheets are the Ferret sheets. Got the thing right here. Ferret sheets. He goes, they're wildly expensive, but they're the best sheets. I'm like, okay, well, good to know. One of these days, when I feel like diving back
Hey,
into
Jesus, you
looking for the
guys.
perfect sheets, I will do that. He got me a set of Ferret sheets. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. And I have yet to put them on the bed. I was going to do it Christmas and like lounge and Christmas, and then I didn't do it. And then I was thinking of doing it last night, and it's like, meh, I'm too drunk to change the sheets on the bed. So tonight I am going to try the quote unquote perfect sheets. We will see.
Okay.
But happy birthday, Blood Reaper. I'm sorry that you kind of get dicked over by New Year's, but I hope that
When was his
someone
birthday?
makes a big deal.
I haven't
He
even
says
looked at the
tomorrow.
comments.
Birthday is
Oh,
tomorrow.
wow.
Yeah.
January 2nd.
Happy Bitter says Happy New Year. My parents are from the South, and I've never heard of Hoppin' John. Maybe it's a Florida thing. Maybe it's just my friend's thing. But yeah.
They just
No,
made it
AC
up.
Wraith. I'm a little concerned we are not seeing the AC.
Oh, yeah. I think he might have said something in Discord.
Did he? Okay.
I don't know. Let me check.
Because I have some really good news for him that I found out over Christmas. Let me pull up Discord. By the way, if you are not in our Discord, please feel free to join us. This is our Discord server. Also, if you are watching on YouTube or Twitch, subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do. Always helpful.
Yeah. Ezra Helsing actually put a video in there like 2 weeks ago that I finally watched.
Yeah.
That's a fun video about connected universes in games.
Oh, really?
Some
I
of them
haven't
are
seen it
it's like,
either.
oh, games whose universes you don't not expect to be connected. And some of them are
Oh.
like, okay, I knew this, like Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. Some of them make a lot of sense, like Just Cause and Sleeping Dogs. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, I see that. I see how those could work. Others are like BioShock and Gone Home. It's like, okay, the routes that it takes, and by same universe, it's the kind of game where you go, okay, uh oh, oh, if this person mentions X Files, and that means David Duchovny exists in their universe, which means
Oh,
blah blah blah, which means
okay,
blah blah blah. So it's
okay.
like a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type of
Right,
thing.
right.
Some of them are more explicit, like in Sleeping Dogs. I think there's a radio, something in the radio that mentions the country in Just Cause.
Oh, interesting, okay. Oh, hey, a bunch of people wished me happy birthday. Thank you. AC Wraith did. Thank you.
Yes,
He
happy
says
birthday.
Santa
What
brought me
happened?
a state of emergency this year. Christmas is postponed until sometime in January. Naturally, it will be after the Steam sale, and my family throws gift cards at for me for. Not that I need gifts, but just for the storm to rub it in. Let's see. Everybody's wishing each other Merry Christmas. How awesome. Um, I guess goalie got COVID.
Ah,
Yay, goalie. I tried watching NYC drop at Nature Called, so I guess I went local. All right,
yeah, I
EC
could.
Ray said he's gonna be here. I mean, didn't say he wasn't.
Yeah, I didn't find anything.
So if things get a little weird for me during the show, there is a very, very, very good reason.
Okay.
I have been migrating all of my passwords
Hmm.
because I was using LastPass.
Did they get hacked?
They got hacked and then they downplayed
Ah.
what they got hacked by. And subsequently, we have found out that the hackers got pretty much everybody's entire password vault, which means all of my passwords. Now, that's not as bad as it sounds on its face. The password vaults, they don't have the secret key and they don't have the password to get into decrypt the vaults and open them up. That being said, I did not know this because I figured LastPass was one of the biggest, should be one of the best. Once they get into your vault, the passwords are stored in plain text by LastPass. They're not encrypted
Mm.
within the vault. So
Hmm.
once they've got that master password and they configure and they get your secret key, you can get into that vault and then they can just read everything. And so I spent some of Thursday, most of Friday, not much yesterday, but then today, I'm going to continue to be changing every single password that I have. And we are talking probably 2,000 passwords.
Oh, geez.
So
Are
signing on
all of those still necessary, or can you just like delete the account to that website? Like,
well, that's the thing is I have to go in to see if they are still active.
hmm,
Because I don't want to give anybody any ideas of what any other passwords are. I'm not because we're talking about years and
true.
years and years and years and years of passwords before like repeating, I don't want to say repeating passwords, but kind of having the same kernel within the password with some variations was
You can,
not seen as terrible.
yes.
So some of these websites exist still, some of them don't. I have to go into every single one to see if they've been changed or if they're still a website. Many of them are not. I mean, some of these are 15 years old passwords. So, I gotta I mean, also gotta change all my email password because just this year I decided to put all my email passwords in my LastPass, even though I know all my email passwords. I had to put my email passwords into LastPass because I wanted to be safe for my family in case something happened to me. So now I've got to go through and change all of the email passwords, which I haven't started. And we're talking, a lot of different emails for a lot of different businesses.
Yes.
But I think I got most of the important ones. I think I got almost all of the Google accounts. I got all of the bank accounts. I got all the finance accounts, the retirement accounts, all those. So anyway, it's been fun, but everything is a little weird. Like I hadn't changed the Google account for GameHound, or I had changed the Google account for GameHounds, but I've yet to change. But I had to it signed me out of everything, and now I had to put into everything for the GameHounds account. So it's been a little, interesting to say the
Okay.
least. Most things have two-factor authentication, which is what's clearly important is the two-factor authentication. Gotta change my AT&T password for my cell phones. Oh, fun.
One
And
more thing to
also,
remember.
remember this, I have 2 sets of passwords for almost every account. My passwords and Kevin's passwords.
Mm,
So, I might go and change my own personal account on LastPass. But if Kevin still also has access to the same account, like say the same bank accounts or the same cell phone account from his passwords, I've got to hunt down what his passwords are and change that as well. So it's a project.
good luck.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you are a LastPass user, consider doing this sooner rather than later because it's chances are nobody has your passwords probably yet, but they may eventually. It's just a matter of time before somebody cracks your password, your master password. And then once that happens, the promised land has been opened up to hackers.
No one
So
will guess my passwords. Everyone just uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
fun. Password 1, 2, 3, 4,
I
5
I add
exclamation point.
I added a 6
Oh, good for you.
just between us.
Um, so let's see. Any other housekeeping we need to talk about coming up? I can't think of anything.
I think I'm good. Your video is looking kind of blurry.
Is it?
I don't know if that's just on my end or if it's your end.
Hey, anybody watching? Bitters?
Oh, I think it looks better now. Maybe
Okay,
it is. Maybe it is just my end.
okay. It might also be my end. My internet's been a little bit weird lately.
Mm.
Uh, what did you do for Christmas and or New Year's? Did you do anything for New Year's? You saw what I did.
Didn't do anything for New
I got
Year's.
hungover. I got drunk and then
Yeah.
hungover.
I was sick for New Year's. um, I had a sore throat the past couple days. Thankfully, it didn't go anything beyond that. Um, but it's like okay, the day before New Year's, I had a sore throat. The day, I think New Year's Day, no, New Year's Eve, it felt a lot better. And
Mhm.
now it's like, okay, I'm feeling well enough to do the podcast. But I think I got it from seeing Avatar, which also not as bad as your dude made it out to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Better than the first one. There's substance to go with that spectacle. I approve of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a better movie. Yeah.
Let's see.
Um.
I'm
So.
looking for let's see. The Blood Reaper said, "Nick, look at chat."
Oh
Uh Looks like there's a link possibly in the news tips file.
no, it was on the memes. It was
Oh.
a coffee mug.
Oh, let's see what we got in the memes. Hold on.
But other than that, we just did a puzzle on New Year's Eve.
Aw,
We
that's
just
cute.
stayed in and did a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and from our window, we could see some fireworks show.
Mhm.
We assume it was coming from the golf course
Mm.
because based on the direction, that's the only likely source that it could be.
Yeah, we had Richmond fireworks, which were a bunch of fireworks that I can out my kitchen window, you can kind of see because we're slightly up on a hill and the rest of Richmond is flat. So
Mhm.
I can look down and see all of Richmond. And of course, it was all just fireworks, street fireworks, because that's what
Ah,
we do. And of course, you're out there and it's like boom, 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 crack, 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 boom, 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 pow, 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 boom, 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 pow, pow. It's like, okay, we're going inside.
okay, yeah, they celebrate way more than people did out here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Although,
yeah, yeah.
although the other
And you
night,
understand what I mean by pow, 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 gig, 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 gig,
yes.
gig, 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 gig. That's why everybody was like, okay, we're
Although
going inside.
our noise started the day before
Really?
when something must have happened with like a transformer or breaker box because the fire alarms went off in this apartment and like
Oh.
all the buildings along the street for a solid
Oh,
15
shit.
for a solid 15 minutes.
Oh,
Uh, we
wow.
eventually took the cats, put them in carriers, got to the car, and just sat in the car to wait it out because, like, those things will damage your hearing.
Oh, yeah, no, they want you to wake up. If you're a heavy sleeper, they want you to wake the
Yeah,
fuck up.
which would be nice if there was ever actual danger. This is the
Mhm.
second time since living here that the fire alarms have gone off for seemingly no reason.
Ah, that's not
So
good.
yeah, I'm a little annoyed at our building and the San Mateo emergency infrastructure at the
Oh,
moment.
wow. Well, honestly, I'm not gonna give them too much of a hard time because as if you are not aware, California is seriously flooding. We've got some very, very no joke flooding going on.
I've seen that. I will
Mm,
still give them a hard time because
um,
I heard it and I was very
share
annoyed.
sharing the screen to why are you not? Oh, because 'cause you're not in the same account. God damn it.
Anyways, for
Anyways.
Christmas though,
Uh-huh.
we just went over to my parents' house, had dinner there, spent Christmas there. My brother flew in from Denver, avoided the worst of the storms, and was able to fly in and out without too much issue.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
That's impressive.
had a very nice family Christmas.
My whole family got just raked. Fortunately, not me, but my cousins who were going to Tucson for a huge family gathering got fucked by the
Mm.
Southwest thing.
Well, he was on Southwest, but his original flight was for Thursday, and I guess out of Denver, it was too cold for anything to fly, so everything got canceled on Thursdays. But he
Mhm.
was then able to get a flight on Friday.
I'm really impressed about that because Den Southwest's problems actually originated in Denver.
Hmm, the epicenter.
Right. That was the epicenter of Southwest problem. In case you're curious about what the fuck happened with Southwest, here's what happened. Is Southwest uses it is incredibly complicated to get an airline to work because you've got to have like pilots and flight crew and ground crew and plane and gate. And those are sound like 5 easy things to put together, but there is especially when it comes to flight crews, an amazing amount of FAA regulations that a flight crew there's like 5 different regulations, FAA regulations, different ones of a total amount of hours that pilots can fly for certain reasons, and they are all on different timers. So if you could be like 4 of those regulations a pilot meets, but the 5th one, he is over by a 10th of a minute, well, that pilot can't fly. And it's the same thing with flight crews, with the flight attendants as well. So it's really complicated. And Southwest has been using a software, and it pretty much only can be done by software. You can't really do it by hand. Southwest uses a program that is circa 1990 is when it was written, and they've never updated it. In fact, there was discussions not even a year ago with their chief technology officer saying, "Hey, are you at all concerned about the fact that you are running a 1990s program that, if something goes wrong, does not have the capacity to do the calculations that you need to do in order to keep your company going?" And he's like, that'll never happen. Well, Denver, because it hit, what was it, minus 16 or 16 degrees out there, it was really fucking cold. A bunch of the ground crew called off and called out sick. And because of that, because it was just too cold, because of that, it caused a bunch of flights to not be able to come into the gates the way that they were supposed to. That caused a bunch of calculations that needed to be made because we have to flying at a different time. And then the storm came in and the rain came into other places, and essentially Denver fucked it. Denver was like the straw that broke the camel's back with all of these extra calculations, and then it went up like exponentially from there. And then from there, the system started to fail. So instead of doing, several hundred calculations an hour, the system was being asked to do several thousand calculations per hour. And then that shut the system down. So Southwest, realizing that there was no way that we were going to get the system to work, they had to just essentially reboot the program. And that caused Southwest to have to shut down completely for a couple of days and not fly, because or they could fly, but they would only be able to do it by doing it by hand. And that takes a really, really long time to do it by hand. And so, yeah, it started in Denver on Thursday. So it's funny that your brother got out on Friday because he was in the epicenter of all that shit going down.
Yeah. Wow.
Uh,
That's yeah.
so
It's what you expect. It's a chain reaction.
it was
It's
very
a
much a chain
snowball rolling
reaction.
down a mountain.
And the snowball started in Denver, and I'm just crazy impressed that your brother was able to get out by then.
Hmm.
That is super surprising. So yeah, it was a COVID?
What?
You're the thing, the what you're cold.
I don't know.
Yeah. Stand by. I have got to yeah, go talk about something. I need to take care of some business here in the background. Nick, you're gonna
Okay.
have to be engaged.
Um, yeah, that's kind of all that my my vacation. Um, between that and New Year's, I mostly just stayed at home and played through a lot of video games. Um, read a lot of comics, embraced my time off. Uh, so I'm glad that you have been keeping up on the news because I have not paid attention to anything going on the past 2 weeks. I've been kind of not offline, but not keeping up with the daily news. And it's
Mhm.
been glorious. It's been so glorious. It's also nice those moments of it's been pouring rain here like the past
Mhm.
several days. And it's always so nice to just walk up to the window, watch the rain fall across the city, with my hot mug of coffee or hot chocolate and just sip it and look out at the cold and just think, I'm not there. I
Yeah.
just it's very, very satisfying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have a place that was like a sanctuary like that.
Hmm. Yeah. My New Year's, all I did was sit home and watch television and drink champagne. I had
I
a bottle of champagne that was given to me, and so I was like, when am I ever gonna drink this but now? So I drank the whole bottle.
I think we had a bottle of champagne. I would have had some, but I wasn't feeling up
See,
to it.
2 people, it's very different.
Hmm.
Super different than 2 people because you're only consuming half a bottle. I started drinking it at 9:30 because I did not wanna drink the whole thing, like, all at once. So I sipped champagne from 9:30 on until I consumed a bottle. But yeah, I did go to bed
I mean,
just a little bit drunk.
when you just sip it like that, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Um All right, so I guess we should start the show. I feel a little concerned that we aren't seeing AC Wraith. Let me see if I can text him
Okay. In the
because
meantime, I
he
will
may not have power, actually, given that point.
I will share what Ezio Helsing sent me on Discord.
Mhm.
Uh, it's a mug that has little cat feet on the bottom, but that
But the cat butt and the cat balls are really what make it.
that's the extra mile. That's going the extra mile and really putting in the effort of accuracy.
As the owner of 2 boy cats, you can approve. You can appreciate that.
Yes, except that they've both been neutered. I guess
Yeah.
they still have balls, but
Yeah, they still have little sacky sacks.
yes,
So, all
I
right, I
never see
guess we'll
them.
just start the show because I'm not seeing hail cat balls. Genderbox says, I want one. Yeah, Bitters, you gonna post that crap into your website or into into the Discord? You got to put a link of where to buy that stuff. Seriously. Oh, incidentally, you seen the new thing on YouTube? The demonetization rules? It makes me really glad that we don't make any money off of YouTube these days because we'd be screwed.
Shall we talk about it in news?
I mean, I don't have any details of it. Like, I
Oh,
don't have an
okay.
actually news
Like
item
like I
about
said,
it.
I've not kept up on anything. I
All
don't know
right.
about this.
So yeah, uh YouTube just they didn't even like hint that this was coming even to some of their biggest content creators. They just dropped this shit. Um there's a new rule about demonetization that deals with profanity. And if you say, what was it? In the first 3 minutes, I think it is, of your video, if you say a swear word with the 2 notable exceptions of hell and damn, those are the only 2 exceptions. Anything worse than those 2, you are instantly demonetized.
Hmm.
But it's not just limited to that. It's also sometimes farther and deeper into some of the content creators are saying that they're seeing it with like stuff that's like 10, 15 minutes into it that they've said the S word or the F word. And in some cases, reading a quote like out of a news article or something that somebody else said and reading that quote, and that's been demonetized. But here's the real kicker. It's not just new videos. It's
Mm.
all videos going back in some cases to 2007 that some of
Wow.
the bigger creators are seeing their videos being demonetized back from 2007. They are
Hmm.
Google decided to like expunge all of the swear words and didn't tell even the biggest creators. So things like PewDiePie and Moist Critical are like 50%, 60% of our back catalog has just been demonetized in 24 hours. Just insane amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying you can write that crap all you want. I don't even know if crap's okay. But you can write that stuff all you want.
I can see in the little timer up in our corner that says 35 minutes and 46 seconds.
Right.
I think we'll pass that timer. So
we are no. That's the thing, is it's not just that timer. Some creators are having their stuff demonetized like 40, 50 minutes into the show.
Oh wow.
Yes. They say that it's instant demonetization on that first 3 minutes.
Awful. God,
you're awful. I'm just going to keep talking over you, so hopefully they won't hear what you just said. Please don't. Please, Nick, come on. Seriously, come on.
I will.
Come on. That's like saying, "Oh, DMCA notice? That's funny. Let's run some like Mickey Mouse and Disney stuff, and let's do NBC News and get ourselves demonetized." Isn't that hilarious? You're the guy that's like in the game, don't whiz on the electric fence, instantly whizzes on the electric fence just to be a dick.
I never put in the trailer or the Olympic coverage that got us demonetized.
That was me.
I never did that.
It wasn't demonetized. It was a DMCA takedown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very different thing. DMC takedowns are the one that everyone's afraid of. That's the one that can shut down your show. That's the one that can have your channel deleted. That's a different thing. Demonetization is just you don't get any money out of it anymore, which is almost, I don't say worse. It's not worse, but it's bad. So, I mean, I'm not worried about demonetization because we don't make any money off of YouTube. But that being said, you never know. One of these days, I mean, I know it's been 13 years, but maybe one day we might actually go viral. It could happen. Who knows? Hey, look who joined. We've literally been waiting for 37 minutes for you to show up, AC. We were concerned. And I've got some good news for you. I found out right before Christmas. Yeah, right before Christmas. I got a phone call from a cousin of mine, the one cousin that I had that decided to move from lovely Bay Area, California and lived here all his life. Moved to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the first year he lived there was the very first time they had the bomb cyclone where people were throwing, boiling water into the air and watching it turn instantly into snow. And I just found out that I asked him, how's he doing up in Minnesota? He's like, I'm not in Minnesota anymore. I am in upstate New York. So guess what? He's kind of not upstate. He's in kind of Western New York. But now I have family there. And now I have a double reason to go out. He bought a house there's only 5 of them living there. There's 6 bathrooms. It used to be a women's shelter and then they sold it. It's got a basketball court in it. I mean, it's not a grand place at all. It's this gigantic, huge place. And so, yeah, I now have a really good reason to go to upstate New York, and I might drag Nick with me just for giggles. You and I could go do our big upstate New York tour. You can do it in the winter too. Then it's really fun. How are you doing, AC Wraith? Are you staying warm? Because I'm concerned. So, let's start the show. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And this time, I'm actually going to remember to do the intro. All right, starting the show.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths.
You want to come in?
If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 664. We are recording this on Sunday, January 1st, 2023. I think this is the very first time that we've done our first show of the year on the first day of the year. Nick's with me, Nick DiNicola.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. That's not surprising. I don't think that's that common.
I mean, obviously it must have happened, but I think in general we don't do it if it's on a Sunday. But yeah, so Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah.
We missed you. Were we off 2 weeks? No, 1 week.
Yes, 1 week.
Okay, good. It just feels like 2 weeks. So yeah. Lots to talk about. Lots of games. Nick's Christmas was good. My Christmas was good. Neither one of us is underwater. Fortunately, California is flooding like a mofo right now. Holy buckets are we flooding. We've had some major highways shut down, which has sucked. We've had blizzards up in the mountains that are a couple of hours east of us. So it's been a bit interesting. Today it is our one clear sunny day that Nick and I will have for, it looks like currently about 2 weeks, and it's going to be anywhere between rain and torrential rain. So enjoy the sunshine, Nick. This is your last chance at vitamin D for a while.
Okay.
I'm not flooded. Nick's not flooded. But we're good. And fortunately, hopefully everybody that's listening now, you're all good and aren't like frozen solid and you have electricity. If you're listening, obviously you do. AC Wraith says his holiday was postponed. Yeah, I saw that. So I guess you or multiple people got snowed in. Thank God you didn't get on the roads. I can't believe the number of people when they said we're banning driving, like Buffalo, New York, they told them it's a driving ban. We are literally telling you don't get in your car. And yet I was reading articles about like people getting in the car to go down to the store to get milk and dying in their cars because they left to get milk. First, A, blizzard's coming. You knew it was coming. Get milk. B, you can go a couple of days without milk. You're not going to die. Stay the fuck inside. Let's see. So yeah, AC Ray says he overslept. He was super late today, so we kind of waited for him because he's AC Wraith. AC, is it, and you would know better since you're upstate New York as well, is it the people just didn't listen or didn't care or didn't believe?
Hey.
Like when Nick and I, there was a pandemic and they said shut down and stay inside. Did you stay inside, Nick, the whole time?
Most of it.
Yeah. Me too. They said
like, I went out to get.
I didn't go out.
I went out to get like groceries and stuff. But
I didn't even get that. We went and got groceries right beforehand, and then Kevin and I, we didn't leave the house for 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. We didn't even go out.
No.
I mean, we took the dogs out to go to the bathroom, but that was it.
I couldn't do that. I didn't have enough space to store that many groceries, so
right.
I would go out and get groceries, but I had a mask on,
and AC Ray said we smelled smoke from an unknown source on Christmas Day. It's not like we could call the fire department. Was it a fireplace? I would imagine your fireplaces were very busy on that day. AC Ray says everyone I know stayed inside. I don't know. People just, you know, there's not a lot of you that are watching. I know that. That's why every single one of you is precious to me. When the authorities tell you don't do something, don't be a Nick. Just don't do it. when when they say don't go out and drive, please don't go out and drive. Anyway, speaking of staying inside and doing nothing, what did you play, Nick?
I started off the vacation, so 2 weeks ago. I had forgotten about this game. I played through Pentiment. That is the illuminated manuscript point and click adventure game
Oh, yeah.
from Obsidian and Microsoft that's free on Game Pass if you have it.
Oh, good to know. I did not know that.
And Pentiment is it's probably one of the best written things I have read in a very long time.
I mean, as far as like a book is concerned, reading?
Just like things, stories, like yeah. So you are a you're a it's ostensibly a kind of 15th century murder mystery where you play as this artist living in a peasant home for a while as you work on this manuscript for an abbey. So it takes place in this very small town. What's going on?
Oh, Chenderbox says, yes, Mom.
Oh,
About me scolding about, listen to the cops when they say don't go outside. Don't go outside.
anyways.
Anyway.
So yeah, Pentiment. You play has, and I'm gonna try to remember his name. Andres, who's an artist working in an abbey on a manuscript.
Mhm.
And the way the game is structured, it takes place over the course of several days, and each day is broken up into hours. So you have like the morning hours where you'll go do some stuff, talk to people. Then it's time for food, and you'll go and have a meal with someone. Then it's time to work again, and you can kind of wander around and talk with people. Then it's dinner. And depending on who you choose to have dinner with, that gives you different information. You learn more about their lives. But the way the game is structured, the first day is like all set up. And so you
Mhm.
don't actually get into the murder mystery until the second day. So it can feel a little slow in the beginning, but what that means is the game does such an amazing job at fleshing out this whole community. You realize that you've got the peasant class, which is like all the farmers, and you're staying with one of them. Like they're giving you access to their home while Andres goes and works in the abbey. Then you've got the tradesfolk, the miller, the blacksmith, the other people,
The
the
Cooper.
tradespeople. And then you've got the abbey, which is a monks. That's kind of the person running the abbot is kind of like the mayor of this small town. And each of them have like each family and each person have their own wants and desires, their own motivations, but then that's dependent on what class they're in. And Andres is in this unique situation, has a player character where he can kind of move up and down that ladder, right? He works at the abbey amongst all the monks and the higher class people, but he lives with the peasants, so he gets to talk with them and learn what they think of everything.
Mhm.
And he goes into town a lot to talk with those people, so he's able to kind of move in and out of these class communities in a way that other people can't, which means when this murder happens, he kind of takes it upon himself to investigate it. But he has this unique ability because of his status and where he lives to actually talk with everyone and learn information. Like the fact that they're all willing to talk with him. He's not someone, a peasant talking to a monk is like, oh, fuck those monks. They
Mhm.
live up on their hill. They're out of it, out of touch. They don't understand what's going on with our farms. But they'll talk with Andres because he doesn't work on the farm, but he lives there.
Right.
A cool stylistic thing the game does is the text. It's all text-based. There's no voice acting, but the text is written in different fonts depending on the person's level of education. So right now in this video we're seeing here, Martin is a peasant, and so his text is all written in kind of very simple script hand. Andres is an artist, and so his script is kind of a very basic but very nice script. Some of the monks, if you can find them, they are written in like very fancy Gothic lettering. And then printers will actually have print that's like from a printing press.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, go back. You're like getting into a bad area. You'll get into the spoiler territory.
Okay.
Full game walkthrough? No, go to like the first hour. You're way too far into it. Okay, see, so here's a monk. You can see the monks talk in this really flashy Gothic script. And so that's what's interesting too is as you're talking with someone and Andres learns, oh, actually, that they know more than I realized. So like if you're talking with someone and they talk about reading, Andres goes, oh wait, this person knows how to read. And you can see their script, like peasant script, changes into like a higher quality script because Andres is like, this person's more educated.
Interesting.
So it's a neat little touch. But what makes the game so good is that at the core, the murder mystery you're trying to solve kind of there's no correct answer. You go around and you investigate, and you can find multiple people with motivations. You can't, because the game is split into, like I said, the hours. And don't jump around like I would say stick to the first 4 hours or so.
Okay.
So yeah, the murder mystery, there is no correct answer. You cannot interview all the people. Let me let the cats out.
Oh,
You can't
gosh.
interview all the people that are suspects. Very quickly you get a list of suspects. It's like 4 people. And but you just don't have time to go through all that. So it's kind of in your best interest to zero in on someone and try to investigate them as much as you can. But it's less about solving the murder and more about picking someone, pointing them out, and like facing the consequences of what that means socially and politically within this community. Right? It means something when someone from the lower class murders someone from the higher class, or if someone from the higher class murders someone else from the higher class. If a monk kills a guy versus if a peasant kills a guy, like those mean different things. And it's like you have to take that into consideration when you're trying to pin the murder on someone. What makes the game really excellent is that once you kind of solve that murder, once you go through that first 3-day period, the game jumps ahead in time. It like jumps ahead several years. Andres comes back to this village. And what this means is it allows you to see the consequences of your choices. It allows you to see
Oh,
how
neat.
how this community has grown, how it's changed. You over the course of the game, you see kids age from children to adults with their own children. And the whole game is interested in this idea of history, both as we remember it and as we live it, how it's recorded versus how it actually happened. There's a really interesting exchange early on where Andres is drawing a picture of like a kind of a biblical calendar-esque. And he's doing it for November. And November portrays people going into the forest to forage for like, food and nuts and stuff. And he's like, this is how November is portrayed, right? This is in the same way like we portray Christmas with like snowman and Santa. This is
Right.
how you portray November. But one of the other monks there is like, Andres, the peasants are no longer allowed to go into the forest to forage. Like this uh icon, this symbology of November is no longer accurate. And so that becomes an
Like
issue of
saying that, oh, when we have Christmas, it's always snowmen and houses with snow on it, except, like that's for you and me. That's not our Christmas. But
yeah,
an alien coming down and seeing a portrayal of Christmas might think, or somewhere else, not being familiar with the earth, would look at it and think everybody's covered in snow and
yeah.
has a white Christmas.
And that's a running theme throughout the game is uh
Reality
history.
versus written history records.
Yeah. And but like it's not just, oh, we remember things differently. Oh, like, history changes. It's not as simple and pat as that, because every class and every person remembers things differently. There are some people who are like upset that the Christian abbey is sort of pushing out the old religion.
Mhm.
Some people are like, no, we want to stick to the old ways, and other people are like, no, I like this new Christian. Everyone here is very strictly religious. Like it is one of the most religious games I've ever seen. Probably one of the single most religious game ever made. Which is not to say that it's like super
Preachy.
Christian or anything. It's not
Yeah.
preachy. It's just all of the characters are Christian and they all truly believe this stuff. And it does such a good job of showing how that affects everyone's life. It's it's both a very depressing game because as you live with the peasants, you realize there's just like this low key undercurrent of depression in everything that they do. Their life sucks. And a lot of like this faith and religion is really, really meant to get them through the day because everything they do is so hard. But what's beautiful about the game is then it will jump ahead 10 years and you see, oh, yeah, these times that was so shitty, people found beauty in it. People found happiness. Like
Mhm.
they're all good things that happen throughout time. And like that's one of the things that it wrestles with is history, the passing of time, how we remember things. Do we remember the bad? Do we remember the good? Do we try to combine it? Like, and you make significant choices, especially in the third part of the game, when it jumps ahead in time again, about how you remember things. So, like, by the end of the game, you go through this really, really cool process of living this history and then choosing how you want that history to be remembered going forward. Like, what about your experiences do you want to like memorialize?
Mhm.
And so it makes you like uh, uh, complicit in that process of historical recording that you've watched other people go through the whole game.
Yeah. That sounds really cool. I may actually try and play that this week because this sounds very much like my kind of game.
It's very good. It's very well written. Like I said, just like on an individual level, the characters, the dialogue is all so wonderful. Like I'm ostensibly solving a murder, but
Mhm.
like you get so invested in the individual characters and their lives and their wants, their desires. You want to talk with people. At a certain point, I was trying to like maximize. It took me a while to like understand the rhythms of the game, but once I did, I realized, oh, uh, when you're given like a set of objectives, if you go and do some of the objectives, that will make time pass forward. So I realized, oh, I don't want to do those objectives just yet. I want to go and talk to every other character in the game first because I want to hear what they have to say. Then I'm going to go do the objectives, pass time forward, then go talk to everybody again. make time pass, talk to everyone again. And like, I just got into this rhythm of I want to hear what everyone has to say all the time because they're all so interesting and so well realized.
That's cool. All right. So huge thumbs up. I'm also going to be doing this
Huge thumbs
probably
up.
tonight.
Yeah,
Anything else?
it's a surprisingly long game. This is 15 hours. I think I probably played it for like 20, but again, like I was trying to talk with everybody.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why, for me, Dragon Age Origins, the first one, was such a long game because I wanted to hear all the dialogue. I wanted to talk to every single person. And on top of that, I wanted to hear all the dialogue from my own party wherever I went. So it lengthens the game, but in a good way for a good
Yes.
reason.
Yeah. I beat it before we went over to my parents for Christmas because I knew I was close to the end. But like we were gonna go over Christmas Day, spend the night, or go over Christmas Eve, spend the night, hang out with them on Christmas Day. So it's like if I don't beat it now, I'm not gonna get a chance to play it for like 3 days. So I ended up staying till like 4:30 in the morning to finish the game because like I can't leave this. I can't just let it be.
All right. So, any other games that you played?
Yes. So after that, for Christmas, I got a gift of a game, Marvel's Midnight Suns, which is complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
This is not like a literary make you think about your place in history and the world, events leading up to you. But what it is a surprisingly good tactics game and a surprisingly good with surprisingly well written characters, I would say. So when I first started this, I at first when this was first announced, let's go way back. I saw there was a lot of speculation about what the Fire Axis, the developer, was doing, and there was rumors that they were working on a Marvel XCOM game, which sounds neat. And so when they put out this game that's a card-based tactics game, I think a lot of people dismissed it as, why the fuck do I want to do this card-based game? It wasn't until several months later, the developer did an interview with Waypoint, where they talked about the development process and how they came to this card-based system. That if you can find that interview from Waypoint, you should listen to it. It's a fascinating look behind the scenes of development. They also have someone. They also interviewed someone about Pentiment, which is also like a great interview, because you see how much that developer loves like that history, that time period. But one of the things that they said about Midnight Suns is they originally pitched 2K and Disney on Marvel XCOM, and they accepted. They're like, yeah, make that game. It wasn't until later that they realized, shit, everything that makes XCOM good doesn't work with Marvel characters. Because what makes XCOM really good is when you're in a mission, there's the fear of all your characters dying. Excuse me. It's I don't want to make a mistake. I need to protect my guys because then I don't want them to die. But you can't kill a Marvel character, right? That's not the exciting thing about it. In XCOM, what makes those tactical situations intense is this feeling of being outmatched. This sense that I'm the underdog against this alien force. But that's also not what people want when they play as superheroes. They want to feel powerful. So they're like, okay, all the tactical design that makes XCOM interesting doesn't work when you involve superheroes because you can't kill them. Players want them to feel powerful. So they ended up in this really cool situation where when you get into a fight, each character has their own deck of cards. And what that deck really is a set of moves, a set of abilities. God, these cats cannot decide if they want to go in or stay out.
Just leave the door open.
I don't want to like yell into the rest of the apartment.
Oh, okay.
Did he open the door?
He jumped at it.
Oh.
I came to open it for him.
Okay, you guys, you're gonna stay in here. So each character has their own deck of cards. They have their own abilities. When you get into a fight, you can choose 3 characters, 3 heroes to bring into the match with you. And so you mush all their decks together, and that's what you draw your cards from.
Mm-hmm.
What the decks do, a lot of the enemies are literally just fodder. They're one-hit kill. No matter what you do, one hit takes them out. And so it becomes more about using the environment to your advantage with the abilities, with this movement abilities you have. And in a lot of ways, it's less XCOM and more Mario and Rabbids.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mario and Rabbids, what made that game tactically interesting wasn't, oh, I'm trying to get through this fight without having Mario die. It was, what is the most efficient use of my abilities at this moment? And that's what this is. It's looking through the cards and thinking, okay, on this turn, I can play 3 cards and I can move 1 character. Do I want to move that character into a situation that sets them up to use the environment? Or do I want to play this card, which will also move the character that's better because I can save that move for something else? Now, what moves do I want to do? Some moves are quick, which means if you knock someone out, that card play gets refunded back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to use this quick ability that has a knockback, and I'm going to knock a strong enemy into a fodder enemy. That way I do damage to the strong enemy. I knock out the weak enemy, which will then refund that card play, and now I can play another card. So what I want to do. And so it's like, okay, each character too has their own like complicated sets interplay between all the cards. Blade, the vampire hunter, can make people bleed. But in order to do that, you have to play his card, make him bleed. So it's like, okay, if I don't draw that make him bleed card, then Blade becomes really, he's not as strong of a character.
Right.
So maybe on the deck, I want to stack the deck with a bunch of bleed cards, make him bleed cards, in order to better get the chances of activating his bleed ability. Someone like Captain Marvel, you have to play 3 of her abilities in order to get her into this super powered state where she gains a lot of block and all of her power is doubled, which is great, except that when you play her abilities when she's not super powered, she's kind of weak. So it's like, okay, do I want to start this fight using a bunch of weak Captain Marvel abilities in order to power her up? Or do I want to take advantage of the other hero abilities at this moment to do more damage? Characters like Spider-Man can take good use of the environment. You can play a card. No.
AC Ray just said, so now Nick learns deck building.
The deck building here is not the same as it is in like Slay the Spire or Magic the Gathering, where your decks are basically infinite sized. The decks here, each character gets like 8 abilities, 8 cards, and then you mush them together. But what that means is the characters, like the decks are small.
Mm-hmm.
They are very small, they're very tiny, and that means when you replace one card with another, you actually feel that. You feel that change without having to play a whole bunch of shit over and over and over again. Which is nice. Small decks are the way to go. Any deck with like any deck building game with more than 12 cards in a deck is overdoing it. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
But so what this leads to very interesting situations where each character has their own unique twist to the cards, right? It's not just, each character has their own abilities. It's each character is complicated in their own way. Ghost Rider is neat because a lot of his moves hurt him. So you do a lot of damage, but then he gets hurt. But then he has an ability that gains a lot of health back. So it's a matter of balancing all that out. Some characters are really good at support. Some characters are really good at offense. Some characters are really good at generating heroism, which you can then use to play really strong heroic cards. So if you have a character that burns through heroism, you would want to pair them with a character that generates a lot of heroism. And it just leads to a very interesting tactical game. Like, it's not XCOM, but it's a very, very good tactics game in its own right. What surprised me about it, though, is outside of the tactics game, there's a whole hell of a lot of stuff to do. This
I
is
noticed that there was. I mean, I'm used to seeing tactics games not being like, text tree, dialogue trees, looking more like Mass Effect than a.
and that is what surprised me, is that this game is actually less XCOM and more Mass Effect.
That looks cool.
There is so much Mass Effect in the DNA of this game. It's hilarious.
Really.
So the game is split into days. In the morning, that's when you go and kind of do all of your battle planning. That's when you can go to the forge and make new cards or get new abilities. That's when you go to the training yard and you can upgrade abilities or spar with people to give them combat bonuses for the next fight. That's when you can go and send heroes out on different missions. Like, that's when you do a lot of the nitty-gritty battle preparation in the morning. Then you go and do a mission, and you put all that planning into practice. You use your new abilities, you go out, you do a mission, right? But then when you come back, and this is what threw me for the first several loops, when you come back from a mission, you start into the evening time period. In my head, I want, like, you do a mission, you come back, you start preparing for the next mission. You do a mission, you come back, you start preparing for the next mission, right? That kind of boom, boom, boom. As soon as I'm out of a mission, I'm into thinking about the next one, right? That's how most tactics strategy games work. But this game is very interested in the characters relaxing, downtime. Very early on, you're talking with Captain Marvel, and it's like, and you ask her, like, wait, does this not count as an apocalyptic event? Like, the world is at stake. And she says, yeah, the world is always at stake. This happens all the time. If you don't find a way to relax during this apocalypse, you're going to go crazy. And so the evening is all about just hanging with your buds. The evening is where you can literally choose a character to hang out with and do something like play video games, meditate, work out. And it's important that you choose the right one because different heroes like to do different things. If you choose play a video game with Spider-Man, your relationship with him is going to get a strong boost. If you choose play video games with Blade, he's not going to enjoy that. He doesn't want to play video games. If you choose working out with Doctor Strange, he's like, no, I don't want to do this. But if you explore the magical Abbey grounds with Doctor Strange, he'll enjoy that way, way more. And it's important that you foster these relationships because as your relationship with them goes up, they get really good combat bonuses out of it.
A bit
But
like what's the game with turn-based fighting game, strategy game, turn-based fighting game with the characters with no feet.
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, same way.
Yes. It's a lot like that. And so in the evening, it's a lot of, okay, who doesn't like me? whose relationship with me is the lowest? I'm gonna go
Mhm.
hang out with them to give them a boost. Or it's like, you know what? Me and Nico, we're like that. I'm gonna go hang out with her again to boost our relationship even more because Nico is a fucking monster on the battlefield, and I want to take her on every mission.
Mhm.
And then once you um once you hang out with someone, it's like, well, I'm gonna go to bed and start the next day. And the morning comes around, and then you get back into the stuff that I did from last mission. I'm gonna get new cards for that hero. I'm gonna upgrade abilities. You're back into the morning, which means you're back in work mode, right? It's like, okay,
Right.
I've got to prepare for the next mission. Uh, and what's also interesting is the Abbey, the place that you wander around in. It's very big, very expansive, and there's a kind of a lot of mysterious stuff going on.
Mhm.
Very early on, you see a ghost of one of the witches that used to live at this abbey, and she kind of walks you through. Hey, there's some stuff to the abbey grounds that you should investigate. And so you can go out and explore like a cemetery, explore an old church, explore the crypt of this witch. And there are just different mysteries to explore on the abbey grounds that are interesting. Like it's worthwhile to just kind of go out, walk around, and see what you can find.
God, this really very much feels like Mass Effect in that same idea where you're inside your ship and you are going around your ship and you're interacting with each people and developing relationships. And that didn't actually change the gameplay, but it did change the storyline.
Mhm.
But yeah, this seems strangely cool. Like
Like I
all these things
yes,
shouldn't fit together well, but they sound like they kind of do.
they really do. And it really surprised me. When I went into this, I was like, hey, I saw this interview on Waypoint where they talked about the combat. The combat sounds really interesting. I want to play this game because of that. Um, but then I wasn't expecting much from the story because like, hey, the Marvel characters, you can't really do much new with Marvel characters. I wasn't expecting too much. But it actually strikes a really, really interesting balance where the Midnight Suns are like this kind of small team of, they're the goth superheroes. You've got Nico, who's like a straight up goth girl. You've got Blade. You've got Magic, who opens portals to Limbo. You've got Ghost Rider with his flaming skull. Like all of the dark magic heroes are part of the Midnight Suns. Well, this crazy shit happens, and now some of the members of the Avengers are here trying to help work with the Midnight Suns. So you've got Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and Tony Stark. But it's like, wait a minute. Those are the fucking Avengers. We're the Midnight Suns. And so
Mhm.
you've got like this interesting team dynamic going on. But then your character isn't a part of any team. They're a new character, kind of resurrected to deal with this issue. And so you're kind of like navigating the team politics of like, hey, I know the Avengers are kind of stepping on your toes here, but also like you know what they're doing. And the Avengers are like, yo, these fucking kids, they're strong, but also they're kids. They don't know magic and technology like we do. And it's like, hey, that team dynamic creates an interesting situation. And uh there are some characters. Shepard, shut up. Can you hear him meowing?
No.
Okay, good, because he is just meowing nonstop.
Nope. Nope. Can't hear a thing.
Um, what was I saying? Right. So, like in Mass Effect, whenever you meet a new character, you get into that conversation that's like, hey, ask me about myself. And you ask them about, hey, who are you? Where you come from? What's your alien culture like? Blah, 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 blah. You get into the same thing here. And at first it was like, hey, I'm Tony Stark. What do you want to know about me? And I just like get blah, 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 blah. I know about Iron Man, right? I've seen the movies, I've read some comics, blah, 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 blah. Skip all this dialogue. It's an introduction to a character I already know.
Mhm.
And it's like Doctor Strange, blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. But then it's like magic. It's like, I don't know who this is. Who the fuck is this girl? And then it's like, okay, now I want to learn more about you, and the conversation is actually interesting. And so it, on one hand, it's like, yes, these are characters you already know, so some of the dialogue is a little unnecessary when it's like introducing you to them. But then I imagine someone that doesn't know Doctor Strange or Tony Stark as well as I do,
Right.
they will get more out of that conversation.
Right. Like for me, that would be important because I'm not a Marvel person and
Yeah.
never have been. And I mean, I know who they are. It's like, it's, you know, Iron Man. Yeah. Suit running around,
Yeah, you know the
rich
gist.
guy. That's sort of all I know.
So yeah, it's when I realized that, I was like, okay, you can do interesting things with these characters. It's just that the first several hours are introducing the characters, and I don't need those introductions, so it kind of fell flat for me. But then as it goes on, I'm like, okay, now you're actually getting into interesting character developments where Tony Stark's aggressive personality is really rubbing people the wrong way. Other people are starting to rebel against him. New characters are coming in that add a nice, interesting twist to the whole personal dynamic. And it's like, oh, I'm actually really liking these characters now. As when I'm in a conversation and I say something and it goes negative friendship level, I'm like, oh fuck. I pissed him off. Wow. I went on a mission with Blade and things went wrong and now he's mad at me. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna give you Blade, I'm sorry. I'm gonna compliment your suit so that you like me again.
AC Wraith is like, magic is Colossus's sister, X-Men, and she was a little girl who went to hell and became a queen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this also seems very cool. Another game I would probably have never considered, but that actually sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
Go figure.
It really
I
surprised
have
me.
yet to ever play a Marvel game that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Just because I'm
Maybe
not emotionally attached to the IP. So if it doesn't kind of rope me in, if it speaks above my head, like, oh, of course you know Marvel, that's why you bought the game. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm out. And if it's the IP is just carrying the game, most notably Marvel's Avengers, I'm out. I am completely out because this does not do anything for me. It's like, oh, you get to play Black Widow, and
yeah.
doesn't mean anything
You
to
want
me.
more to it than that.
If it's not a good game, I don't care who's in it. It does not intrigue.
So yeah, this would be a good starting point.
It sounds like it's going to be a very good starting point.
Yeah. And it's cool because when a new hero joins the team, it's less like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's on the team, and more like, okay, Spider-Man, what cards do you have? What can you do for me?
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. So just recently, Captain America joined my team, and I'm like, oh fuck. Captain America. Captain America is like a super support guy. He has strong defense. He can taunt a bunch of enemies to get them to fight him, but then he also gets block on himself. So it's like, oh fuck. Cap is gonna come in, piss off all the enemies, get them to attack him, while other characters just wipe the floor. And I'm like, ooh, Cap,
It's gonna be fun.
I like how you fit in with the rest of the group.
Right.
It's like, oh, I see this. I like this.
All right.
And other characters are like, Doctor Strange, you're an interesting support guy that I just don't need. I don't need you, buddy. I'm gonna go hang out with these other people. My relationship with everyone else is level 2. He's still level 1. I'm like, it's okay.
So any other games you played?
That is it.
All right. I played a couple of games, still playing Farming Simulator. Yes, really. I don't know. I'm finding it. I will put in a couple of hours into it and be alarmed that I found it so enjoyable to just plant seeds. Because I mean, it does not skip around. You can't be just like, oh, plant that field. It's like you've got to go down and you've got to cultivate the land, and then you've got to plow it first to make the field. Then you've got to plant the seeds, buy the seeds, transport the seeds up to your buy a seeder, put the seeds in your seeder. Then you've got to literally go back and forth and plant the seeds. And then when you're done, you got to go back and forth and fertilize the ground. And then you got to go back and forth, and you've got to put lime on it. And then you got to go back and forth. And it's like, I'm just coming up to the end of my second year. I'm finally getting a cash crop. And I just harvested and replanted, but I haven't sold because the grades that I have are in a low, at the lowest time of the year for prices. So I'm going to hold out. But I started with 1.5 million. I'm down to my last 100,000. So I really need to sell stuff. I'm waiting for February so I can sell everything. But of course, when that happens, it's just going to be this massive, like, I have to run back and forth and load up stuff and then unload it, and then go back and then reload other stuff and maybe reconfigure my trailer. And then I'm just at the stage of like, plant something, grow something, sell something. I'm not even at the stage of like, and do I want to invest in some buildings that might let me process something? Like, for example, a mill to mill your flour or mill your wheat so that you can actually sell flour and not wheat, because flour is obviously more expensive. You make more money that way. Okay. And then after that, maybe you go get yourself some cows and get some dairy going, and then maybe make bread and then buy a bakery, and then you can make the bread to go into the bakery, and you become these very complex chains, product chains. And every single step of it, there is no like, oh, we just buy it and then it happens. No. Every single step requires you to actually do the thing. Like the grain mill, you have to go and create the grain mill. You have to plant the grain, do all the steps of planting the grain, put the grain into the grain mill. The grain mill has to spend a certain amount of time producing the flour. Then you've got to find a place to store the flour. So you have to buy silos. It just becomes like this like thing. So I'm just at the verge of being able to do my first big cash crop that hopefully, I have no idea how much money I've lost. I mean, I haven't lost it. I've invested it in equipment.
Yeah. Will you recoup that investment?
Will I be able to recoup that investment? I don't know. I mean, if I do it enough years, I will. But I'm just, so much stuff I'm not sure how to do. Like, I've bought the wrong equipment.
Oh.
I have bought the wrong equipment multiple times because I didn't know what a tedder is. Do you know what a tedder is? Or
yeah,
a windrower is?
It's a machine that makes TEDs.
Yes, it makes TEDs.
Yes.
Yeah,
and a windrower. That's another name for an airship.
Yeah, it's just the act of mowing your lawn is you have to buy the mower. Look, if you've got native grass, great, but it's better if you plant grass. Then you got to fertilize grass. Then you got to lime the grass. Then you got to roll the grass. And then when the grass is mature, you got to wait until it's absolutely mature to get the most amount of product out of it. Then you got to go get yourself a mower. Then if you want to make hay out of it, or if you want to make grass out of it, you get yourself a tedder. And a tedder is a thing that you run back and forth, up and down, that essentially fluffs all of the grass that's on the ground for it to dry out.
It's a grass fluffer.
Right. Grass fluffer. Then you got to get yourself a wind roller, which is a wind rower, which you run it up and down, and it essentially makes a little vortex, and it takes all the grass and puts it into a line. And then you got to get yourself a baler. Then you got to run the baler up and down and, bale every single one of them. And if you really want to make some money and turn it into silage, fuck if I know what silage is. You got to go get yourself a baler a bale wrapper. Then you get a bale wrapper and you wrap the bales, and then they've got a ferment in there. But if you use the tedder, it won't ferment because you'd want it to be wet. So it's like, and yet you spend most of your time just going back and forth and back and forth. And it's so relaxing. Thank you for the link to the tedder. I honestly think I could have a somewhat intelligent conversation about equipment with a real farmer at this point.
Oh yeah, if you just mentioned tedder.
I know what a tedder and a windrower is. Do you have a windrower? Do you have a tedder?
Are
you gonna wrap it? I mean, now if I see bales wrapped, I'm like, oh, I know what they're doing. They're waiting for this to ferment so that they can use it for, I think they use it for feed. I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you for silage. Or silage. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I know what it is, and I know what you got to do to get it.
You got to figure that out, because that's how they're going to know if you're an amateur farmer or a pro.
Right.
If you're going to come out and say silage, and they're just going to go, oh, one of these people.
Do you remember what was the Tom Cruise movie about racing, car racing?
Oh, Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. And you remember that line where he's like, was it? Xbox games are surprisingly realistic when they're like, do you know how to run a race car? It's like, yeah, Xbox is surprisingly realistic, something like that. And they were laughing about that. And it's how I feel about Farming Simulator. I'm like, oh, Farming Simulator 22, surprisingly realistic. The other game that I played, which I didn't even bother to put anything on the screen about Farming Simulator, because it's literally just a farm that you're going back and forth in, just making row after row.
Chunderbox says we were right the first time with silage. What?
It's silage? Oh, okay. Chunderbox. See? Am I sounding sort of farmish? That I actually know what a tedder is and when not to use it, which I found out by essentially wrecking an entire field of what I thought I was going to get paid for silage, but I ran a tedder over, and then I realized, oh, of course not. It won't ferment if you use a tedder.
See, this is
it sounds very. See, I'm faking it.
See, it's important that you learn these mistakes now, so that when you go start your real farm, you don't make those mistakes.
It has occurred to me. It's like, crap. I wonder if you could play, like, if I had a lot of money, I would, because there are some people who play this game who are not farmers. Also, doing a lot of research in this game, I'm coming to the conclusion very quickly. There are a lot of fucking farmers who come home from the farm and sit down and play Farming Simulator. They're into this shit. I mean, and they know. So like you hear like tutorials, right, on YouTube, and it's somebody's like, oh, hey, let me tell you how to play this, or let me tell you how to play that, and and then it's like Farming Simulator is like, hi, today we're gonna do it. It's like, ooh, yeah, we gotta get her. There's some repairs on the tractor. Now, I was going to get a John Deere, but they're really difficult because you can't put the Spider front loader on a John Deere, and I just don't really want to go into that kind of investment right now. It's like, wow. you absolutely. Actually, it's not even that high pitch. It's like, it's down here. It's like, I'm a farmer. You know this guy's you know this guy's run a tedder before. So it's kind of crazy, but I have, if I had a lot of money, if I win the lottery, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find one of those few farming simulators, I shouldn't say few, one of the farming simulators players that are well known on the internet, and I'm going to buy a farm. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give you 6 months to run my farm. Can you take what you've learned from Farming Simulator? I'm gonna give it, and I'll give $1.5 million and a farm. It's like, can you do it? Can you do it in real life? Does it translate?
You know what? If you hire a film crew along with that to film it, you could probably sell it to Netflix and recoup that $1 million.
Probably. Hey, anybody got $1.5 million and a farm? That's my idea. Copyright stamp on it now. Registered trademark copyright. DMCA. Nobody steal that idea. The other game that I have played, which I will pull up an actual screen of it, is I played. Was it New Year's Eve? No, it wasn't New Year's Eve. Was it Christmas? It might have been Christmas Day. At the end of Christmas Day, I was kind of just like, I kind of want to play something. I pulled up Sky, Children of Light. And if you recall, that was discussed, I think it was the Game Awards.
Oh yeah, there was some event going on.
Right, that they have a recording artist named Aurora, who I don't know who Aurora is, that was doing concerts in the game. And I knew, I mean, it was that game company. That game company is kind of known for making artsy fartsy games.
See, Ray says, for a moment, I thought Edie's lottery plan to have us all live together for a year turned into an enslavement on a virtual farm.
Well, you can have an AI. You can tell, like, when if you really can't just bring yourself to do another row after doing it for like an hour and a half, you can get it hire an AI helper who you have to pay. So, I mean, you could be my AI helpers if you like.
Okay. My television pitch is now evolving into the real world meets Farming Simulator.
I could see it. Children of Light is, I mean, I knew it was going to be an artsy fartsy game. It's that game company. They're kind of known for these artsy fartsy games.
Yeah, they did Journey, Flower.
Flower to this day is one of my favorite games. I really, really loved it. And for the same reason. Flower didn't really tell you what it was doing, but it was an interesting place to be and very beautiful. And I loved the music. But you really didn't know what you were doing, and it was only by kind of fumbling through the game that you figured out what you were doing. This game gives a little bit more explanation than that, but essentially you are a child of this ancient civilization that has fallen into disrepair, obscurity, kind of failed. But it wasn't destroyed, it was made dormant by things and by events. And you need to go through these different worlds, these different kind of, I don't want to say rooms, but they are kind of different rooms, different areas to find souls within those areas. And then each of those souls is part of a point of a constellation. So, and there's a verticality to it in that you can fly, you can upgrade your flying, upgrade your quote unquote wings. You start with no wings, you eventually get wings, and then you can upgrade them, which will allow you to go farther. You earn energy in order to keep your internal light going by lighting candles when you find them. Water obviously hurts you. It puts out your light. So it's a bit like a platformer, but it's like a 3-dimensional platformer in that you're trying to find things hidden within these areas and release these souls. It is also multiplayer in that wherever you go into these places, you will see other players who are also children of light. And many of the candles that you see around can actually be left as messages for other people, a bit the way that
Like Dark Souls-esque?
like Dark Souls is.
Huh.
That you can assist people like, I need help. And you can make a little call that it's like, "Mern, mern," and it's like they're looking for somebody to help them. And you can run over to help them. Or somebody's candle has gone out because they've gotten too wet. You can go over and light their candle and give them light back.
Oh, cool.
But you can also leave messages behind in the same way that what was Death Stranding was like that, where you would just
Oh,
leave
yeah.
messages behind. And but the characterizations of those messages, which really appealed to me, I didn't leave any, but it seems like there's a lot of Japanese players on it. And everything in Japanese is translated to English in these messages. So you see the Japanese text and then you will see the translation into English. And it's people just kind of leaving random messages like, I miss you so much. I wish you were here. Or somebody else like, it's raining here and I want to go outside, but it's so terribly cold and depressing. I miss all of my friends. Someone else, Merry Christmas. Someone will wish Merry Christmas and hope for all the world. So it's all these just kind of like little affirmational kind of messages that you can go around. And also, the whole concert thing is this artist named Aurora. When you go into the game, it's like this lobby, and you can either choose to go into the quote unquote game area where you're essentially doing the actual game of discovering things and finding things and putting things back to right. There's also another area that it's like, would you like to go to the concert? And the concerts happen every, I think, 4 hours in the game. And if you go into the concert, it is essentially an auditorium and people are just milling about, and you can actually find someone and like make gestures and maybe talk to them, not talk to them, but you can chat back and forth to them text wise. And then you can choose that I want to sit with this person. And it's this big freaking auditorium, and you are given a seat, row and seat number for the concert. And then when the concert happens, she comes out, she talks for a moment about being a child of light and isn't it wonderful and we're all here. And then there's a song. And when she breaks into song, she is a ball of light coursing through this kind of area, and you become something within that. Either like the first time I played it was like a little like beautiful illuminated jellyfishes, and you could fly around each other, you could fly to chase her, you actually had control of your person. So she was flying and you were flying with her to this music. And it's really actually very, very cool music. It actually fits very beautifully. But it's just kind of a neat experience. I mean, it's obviously game because you have to figure stuff out. You have to figure the mysteries out and find things and set them to right, the way that Flower was, the way that Journey was. But it's also this experiential part of it, adding this concert into it. It was exactly what I needed for a Christmas Day Eve of being alone and kind of feeling a oneness with other people that were playing, and at the same time also being in your own world playing your own game. Like it's just kind of, it's a very precious game, and I really, really enjoyed it. So it's part of it. It's like, yes, it's a game, but it's also kind of not a game.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's very much in line with everything else that game company has done.
Thank you for the link to Conqueror. That's actually one of the songs that she sings in the concert. I wanted to sit through the whole thing. I got through, I think, third song or second song. And then by that point, it was so late. I just had to go to sleep, and I actually left the concert early, but I can always go back.
What did you play it on?
I played it on PlayStation 4. It's I believe it's exclusive. Actually, I take it back. I know it's iOS. I don't think it's Xbox. So I played it on PlayStation 5, PS5,
Okay.
and it's gorgeous.
I think I
And it's
seen
free. I want to say it's free. It's free to play.
Okay, because I had seen this a while ago, but it was like on iOS, and I always thought I don't want to play a That Game Company game on a tiny little phone.
Right.
But I didn't know that it came out on consoles.
Yeah, it's on consoles, it's on PlayStation, and in fact, I think that was the big announcement at the Game Awards was that she was going to do it was on PlayStation. It was on PlayStation 5. It was free to play, and immediately after the Game Awards, that's when she did the concert live.
Okay.
Right.
That's really
I
cool.
referenced that music video last episode when Edie was sick. Edie shook her head like she knew. Did I? I was pretty sick. I was kind of feverish for a long time.
Oh, he
I
says
thought I might have known
PlayStation-
her too, but it's PlayStation, Switch, and mobile.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a really, really, really neat game. In fact, I guess it's multiplayer in that I guess you could meet up with each other.
Yeah,
and
but I
go
don't know
to a
if there's any
concert
way
together?
to invite you. It's more about the connection with strangers.
I don't know. I honestly don't know if it is. But it's kind of, well, if you're into That Game Company games, those kind of art pieces,
Yeah.
then this is you'll love this because it is really good. I liked Flower more than I liked Journey. And I like Journey a lot. In fact, it uses some of this this game uses some of the my favorite parts of Journey was the mechanic of the sliding down dunes. Because it's not just, flying, it's also sliding, which kind of makes it neat that you can surf a sand dune in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it does give you some explanation of what you're supposed to do. Unravel the mystery, free the spirits, and learn new expressions. And you can buy the expressions. You get expressions. You can get different haircuts, different wings, different kind of skins for your character. And you can actually purchase those as well. That's how I guess they make their money. But this was really worthwhile. I was glad I played it. And it's not something that's making me die to come back. Like, oh, I want to find out how this ends. No, but also I could see myself definitely coming back to it on repeatedly to just kind of continue on the story.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's just a charming, pleasant experience.
Yeah. It's a charming, wonderful, pleasant experience of finding things, and you could see that there's people that have played a lot of this. In fact, there were a number of people that left messages that it's like, it was 1 year ago tonight that I started playing this game, and I can't tell you how much I have received out of this, how much joy this game has given. Like, these are messages that you just kind of run across and can read them, and then you can leave messages yourself.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So I recommend if it seems like it's your kind of game, then it's definitely your kind of game. If it seems like it's not your kind of game, it's definitely not your kind of game.
I definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. And it's free to play, which is kind of nice.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I got nothing else. Do you have anything before we hit the news?
No, nothing that I played.
All right. Well then, let's hit. Wait for it. The news. This is again. GameHounds with Gamer and Nick Nicola, and our first item is. Do you want to start?
Okay. What could
I can start. I mean, I'm no. You know what? I'm gonna start. You know why? Because you never do the above the fold shit. And there's a couple of above the fold shits that need to happen.
I don't know any above the fold stuff. All I know is the stuff that I found in the 20 minutes before starting the show.
God, you suck. God, you suck. All right. The big above the fold news that happened in the last, I guess it's 2 weeks now. Federal Trade Commission levied a judgment of, actually, I should say Epic Games has agreed to pay $250 million to resolve a Federal Trade Commission allegations, actually in 2 different actions due to Fortnite. The 2 actions, one were about online privacy protections and children. The other one was about tricking players into making microtransactions. So, the FTC has said that the agreement consisted of 2 different record-breaking settlements to resolve these 2 complaints. The first one, was filed in federal court, and it alleged that Epic violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act by collecting personal data from Fortnite players who were under the age of 13. And doing that without notifying their parents or obtaining verifiable parental consent, which you're supposed to do. And yeah, that COPA stuff, they don't fuck around with the COPA shit. And they apparently, without admitting guilt, said, okay, we'll just pay the fine. So what the lawsuit alleged was that Epic had illegally enabled real-time voice chat communications for children and for teenagers under the age of 13 in the game by default, which according to COPA, you can't do that for kids under the age of 13, or should I say, 13 or younger. You cannot do that. You've got to make sure that that you receive parental okay to allow chat and voice text, real-time voice text, or voice chat and text chat. So as a result of them not doing what they should have done in the first place because they couldn't read the fucking COPA Act, some of these youths were bullied, threatened, harassed, and exposed to dangerous and psychologically traumatizing issues such as S-word we can't say on YouTube because of exactly this reason, COPA. S-word meaning, what was it, to unliven yourself? What was the catchphrase that we decided to use a couple of weeks ago? So Epic agreed in that first action to pay $275 million civil penalty. This is the largest assessed in the commission's enforcement of this privacy law to date in the history of COPA. Also, as part of that, the Epic agreed to pay $245 million in consumer refunds to resolve the second complaint. Now, this second complaint was filed in administrative court, and it is due to the FTC alleged that Epic deployed a bunch of different tactics that caused unintended purchases of virtual currency for acquiring things like outfits and skins and dance moves and the whole 9 yards. It also said that they used counterintuitive, inconsistent, and confusing button configurations. Now, this is James Doty, who is the attorney for the Federal Trade Commission, said, quote, "The button configuration within Fortnite was so confusing and inconsistent that it was extremely easy for users to rack up charges for items they did not want. Game players are kind of fast and furiously pressing buttons. Some of those buttons were preview items, some of those buttons purchase items. And if a user was previewing an item and accidentally pressed an adjacent button, they would immediately be charged for the item with no recourse." They also charged that Epic intentionally obscured any ways to cancel or refund any of those like the features to cancel or refund an order, in order to make them more difficult to find, and that the company locked the accounts of customers who disputed unauthorized charges with their credit card companies. So even if you got mistakenly hit the button and got charged, even if you were lucky, and if you might not even be able to find the buttons and the ways to get a refund because you bought it by mistake. And if you went to your credit card company and said, "I did not buy this, please dispute this charge," Epic would penalize that account. Even
That
when Epic agreed to unlock the account, the consumers, after they locked their account because they disputed the charges, if they even got Epic to unlock the account after disputing the charges, consumers were warned that they could be banned for life if they disputed any future charges. So, okay, we'll let this go. But if you ever dispute another charge from us, we will ban you from life from this game. It's like, I didn't mean to hit the button anyway. You moved the button on me.
So yeah, when they say the button changes, that means like
Sometimes
you're
the button
yeah, like
location was for preview. Sometimes the button location was for buy.
that's that kind of really shady. I forget the word for it. Like dark. It's not dark web.
It's called dark. What is it called? It is called dark tactics. Dark.
Yeah, something like
Let's see.
that.
In a minute.
Dark
I've got the name
design?
for it. Inconsistent. One of these tactics. So hold on a second. I know it.
But
It is
yeah,
called dark
it's
patterns.
yes.
Tactics that
That's
trap customers into paying for goods and services and create obstacles to canceling.
that's very nice to actually see that type of design punished financially.
Yo, big time.
That shit is so annoying.
So, Epic did agree that it will pay $245 million in consumer refunds for that part of it. So, half of it was about the kids, that goes to the government. The other half of it is about the dark patterns, that goes back to customers.
Okay.
The FTC identified 3 categories of consumers eligible for these refunds. So here's who gets the refunds and where you need to go if you were a victim to this. First off, parents whose children made unauthorized credit card purchases in the Epic Games Store between January 2017 and November 2018. They're the first eligible group. The next eligible group, Fortnite players who were charged in-game currency, V-Bucks, for unwanted in-game items like cosmetics, llamas, battle passes, that kind of stuff, between January 2017 and September 2022. The third group, Fortnite players whose accounts were locked between January 2017 and September 2022 after disputing unauthorized charges with their credit card companies. So, shoot, I should have put this in the my bad. I did not put this in the thing. Here is, I'm going to add this to the, there we go. The ftc.gov/Fortnite. That is the FTC's website where people can find out more information and sign up for email updates. The lawyers for the FTC say that they're aiming to, quote, give money back to injured consumers as seamlessly as possible. So that is where you would get information, and I would assume that you would register if you are a member, one of those 3 categories of people. Or multiple categories. You could be multiple categories of those people and register for your refund. I would imagine that the actual amount you get back is going to be based upon how many people actually register. So that's kind of the big fucking news, is that Epic got slammed hard. And not only had to spend a big chunk of change to the government, you have to send a big chunk of change back to consumers. Good. And hopefully more Fortnite honestly is one of the worst at this, but I hope that this serves as a, to use a catchphrase, giant wake up notice to other companies who do use these methods of essentially tricking people into buying shit they didn't want and then making it hard or impossible for them to get a refund. Dark tactics. Yeah. So hopefully that will be in the end of the dark tactics. Deceptive design. User interfaces crafted to trick you. That's another word for it. Unalive yourself. That was it. So all that is all bad. But there's information. Thank you very much for the link, AC Wraith, the Fortnite refunds, and we will see. We will see if there. I'm waiting to see if there's any constructive changes, because it's not the only company that does this kind of shit.
No.
I'm waiting to see if there are any graphical or store changes, functional changes within some of the other stores that do this kind of shit, like Activision. They're. I'm waiting to see if there's any recognition within the gaming publishers and the gaming, the really predatory gaming developers that by the grace of God go I. And I could be following up very soon. So we'll see.
Okay.
And next,
you go again. Didn't you have another FTC related news story?
No, those were the two ones. Those are the two FTC related story. Although I could talk about, if we want to talk about this week in the Activision Blizzard shit show.
I did see that, isn't the FTC going to start hearings about their opposal to the Microsoft merger?
I would not be surprised if that is the case. But if you want to talk about that, there is some other information.
I think I saw it in passing that just they're going to start, getting the hearings about, hey, why should we oppose this? Should we not oppose it that soon?
Right. Well, in the wake of that, since you brought it up, this week in the Activision Blizzard shit show, oh my gosh, so much. I'm gonna shoot my wad of all of my stories, because almost all of my stories, the Activision Blizzard shit show, unintentionally. Gamers this week, a group of 10 gamers filed suit over the Activision acquisition using much of the same language that the FTC has. It hasn't filed anything, but it's raised concerns, and this actual lawsuit has been filed, uses some of that same wording as for the reason why they're filing the suit. So the lawsuit was filed in federal court, and it says that the multi-bajillion-dollar acquisition of the company by Xbox and Microsoft would, quote, create a monopoly in the video game industry. Actually, take it back. The U.S. regulators did file a case with the administrative judge to block the deal. So that actually has happened as well.
Okay.
So the proposed acquisition, they said, would give Microsoft a, quote, far outsized market power in the video game industry, with the ability to foreclose rivals, limit output, reduce consumer choice, raise prices, and further inhibit competition. So yeah, that's another. So there's not only the U.S. regulators have filed a case in administrative court, actual gamers have filed in federal court as well. So we'll see. We knew it was going to get messy. In other Activision Blizzard shit show news, this is the one that I woke up and I read it, and it just made my eyes roll. I think I sprained an eyeball rolling back in the back of my head over this one. Let's see where I can find it. Oh, come on. I must have. I know I put it up. There we go. Activision Blizzard's president and COO is leaving the company. Daniel Allegre, who has been in the role for all of 2 whole years. It's going to leave on March 31st. When his contract expires. That was the ostensible, although probably not, given all the lawsuits and the FTC and things going on with the sale. It was supposed to be ostensibly the date of the sale is he was going to be leaving. So his contract's ending on March 31st because of the sale The sale probably won't happen March 31st, but still, he's not coming back, even though his contract is ending. He has announced that he has joined blockchain firm Yuga Labs, which is the company behind the Bored Ape Yacht Club. What a fucking surprise. That was the eye roll. Like, really? Oh my God.
Also, I feel like if you're
Jesus.
gonna jump from a sinking ship onto
You're gonna go to the
another
blockchain. You're gonna go
sinking
to
ship,
NFTs now. Are you an idiot?
that feels like I want to get away from Activision. Who will hire me? Shit, nobody
Shit,
wants
nobody's gonna
me.
hire me. Well, I guess I'll just go to the crypto company for a
Yeah,
while.
I'll go there because they will pay.
hmm I wonder if he's getting paid in Bitcoin or if he's getting paid in money. I would venture to guess he wants cash.
Yeah.
Good old US dollars. So
AC Rate says it has yacht in the name. It can't be sinking.
yeah. So and just as an FYI aside that was noticed, I forget where I got this article out of, but something else that also made my eyes roll and makes me believe that there may very well possibly be no God. Proxy statement filed with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission last year confirmed that CEO Bobby Kotick is the sole Activision Blizzard executive to hold change of control protection that would reward him financially in the event that he's replaced after a takeover. Should he be terminated following Microsoft's acquisition, Kotick would be in line to receive hundreds of millions of dollars.
See, part of me,
Special place in hell for that guy.
part of
Really,
me just
seriously.
doesn't want this whole merger to happen, just because.
So
it
Bobby
would
has to
reward
go down with the
him.
ship. So Bobby
Yes. That-
has to voluntarily leave
That's all I want.
Activision. That's a good point. You've just
Destroy-
made a compelling
destroy-
reason why I'm not into this so much anymore.
Yeah, just against him. I don't
Sure.
care anything. That's all that. I mean, I'm against it for more reasons, but like for the pettiness of how can we fuck Bobby Kotick in some? How can we minorly inconvenience him?
So he has a moment of sleeplessness on his pile of money.
So he sits up and he has to
Right.
turn over on his pile of money.
Yeah. So yeah. It's like truly that is just a cesspool of just really reprehensible human beings.
Yeah.
Cleaving. I'm getting the fuck out of here before it all hits the fan. After pretty much we set up the fan and the that it hit, we launched it at it. Now we're walking away, and I'm gonna go work for Bored Ape. Oh, God. He should just should we go buy that guy as a going away present? One of the Thursday Nick mustache set. Just get him one of those. Like here, just to complete the outfit.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be the part, look the part.
Also in Activision Blizzard shit show, I guess this is just from today. No, Tuesday.
Okay.
How many days ago was that? I have no sense of time.
It's Sunday, so that would be 6 days ago.
Another studio under
5 days
Activision
ago.
Blizzard is unionizing. This is the Boston-based studio Proletariat.
Right, which is hilarious, named Proletariat, and they're
Yeah.
unionizing.
I guess they worked on the World of Warcraft expansion Dragonflight, and I think they were acquired by Blizzard relatively recently.
Did you not make banners, Nick?
I didn't make any banners. My bad. I forgot how to do this. But yes, they were recently acquired by Blizzard. I can't find a date for that. But within the past 2 years, they're acquired by Blizzard. And after seeing the success that other people have had, like at Raven, they have decided that, like, hey, the best way for us to keep our company culture intact while being acquired is to form a union.
So are they totally acquired or not yet?
I think they are.
Okay. Because that would very much scuttle any acquisition. Oh, poor Microsoft. I mean, I feel kind of bad that, I mean, not even kind of bad. I do feel bad, kind of bad. I feel totally bad that Activision essentially just destroyed human lives. And then when they finally get union, like as soon as they get acquired, that it's like unions start to happen. This should have happened a decade ago to actually make it, affect the people that affect the people that actually cause the harm. They're just walking away. So, well, who knows? Maybe it doesn't go through. Maybe it doesn't go through. Which would be, I don't know, actually, would it make me feel better if Bobby Kotick had to lie in the poopy bed he made for himself instead of handing it off to Microsoft and saying you can clean it up? But by the same token, can you imagine what an angry Bobby Kotick would be like to his employees?
Oh yeah, if he was actually out to,
if he was actually like, because he's a vindictive little MF, he would absolutely take it out on everybody, and the people that he could take it out most on are the ones that are most vulnerable. He would absolutely do that. He would probably do that before he left because he makes more money by staying and being incompetent.
Actually, that's true.
He would absolutely take it out on them, and he would make their lives hell before the company went bankrupt, and he would write it right into bankruptcy and still make money on it.
Leave as it was going bankrupt with a golden parachute.
He wouldn't leave. He'd let it go bankrupt. They still have to pay him. There's no like, if you make the company go bankrupt, you don't get paid. That's not in his contract. Is if he's forced to leave by any reason other than him walking away, he gets paid millions. Write it into the ground, and it's not his company. He makes money no matter what. Oh, what a horrible human being. Horrible human being. My next item is, let's see. Sort of on the same lines, not entirely the Activision Blizzard shit show, but kind of parenthetical to the Activision Blizzard shit show. Actually, it is part of it. Actually, take it back. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Startups. Where are they going? I already did Epic Games, the FTC. Did I not keep it? Oh, yes. Here it is. So it actually is related to the Activision Blizzard show. So we'll keep this up here. Microsoft and Activision had an initial court response to the FTC lawsuit that they filed in administrative court last week. I should say they published it last week. And it's kind of all over the place. And as part of that, that response, there were some very interesting paragraphs that were pulled out by very sharp-eyed readers. They talked specifically at one point about their acquisition of ZeniMax, because they did acquire ZeniMax, and Microsoft is kind of pointing to that, saying, look, we didn't acquiring Activision is not much different than us acquiring ZeniMax, and we didn't make everything exclusive on ZeniMax. In fact, we only have, and this is what they said in the complaint, or in the response, we only have 3 games coming out of ZeniMax that are going to be Xbox exclusives.
Aren't there only 3 games Bethesda's announced?
That's Bethesda, but maybe.
Okay.
No. There's way more. They've announced a ton of games.
No, they haven't. They've got Starfield, Redfall, something else.
Right.
But that's I imagine that's what's exclusive, but that's also all they have.
Right. Well, here's a quote. The complaints reference to Microsoft's recent acquisition of ZeniMax, a set of gaming studios acquired, and this comes out of I forget where this came out of. But yeah, it's a set of gaming studios acquired in 2020 has no relevance to the current transaction. And this is out of the response. So they said the complaints reference to their acquisition of ZeniMax has no relevance to the current transaction. After that transaction closed, ZeniMax's first 2 new games were made exclusive to PlayStation for 1 year post-launch. Xbox anticipates that 3 future titles, and they redacted those 3 titles when they released it to the public, all of which were designed to be played primarily alone or in small groups, will be exclusive to Xbox and PCs. So they acquired ZeniMax a long time ago, and they've released, they pointed out they had PlayStation exclusives.
That's meaningless because those deals were already in place.
But consistent with its historic approach, Xbox has continued to release new updates of existing ZeniMax games such as Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online on both Xbox and PlayStation, because these games are designed to be played together by broad communities of gamers on different platforms.
Okay, that's a better
This
argument.
last set of games is the one most analogous to Call of Duty. So the ZeniMax experience cuts against the idea that Xbox would make that game exclusive. That's their argument. So the 3 games that they're talking about, and that's where people are starting to like wonder. I mean, 2 of those games are pretty obvious, Starfield and Redfall, but there's a 3rd game that's going to be Xbox exclusive, and everybody's kind of wondering what it might be. Some people are guessing that it's the upcoming Indiana Jones game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Some people are maybe it's Elder Scrolls 6.
That's too far out.
Maybe.
No, it's too far out. They're not going to bring that up into any discussion.
Yep. Or some other independent game that they're working on that's independent of any of these big, properties. So what do you think it might be? I'm throwing it out there to the channel. What do you guys think is the 3rd game that's going to be Xbox exclusive?
It's definitely not
So
Elder
Chunderbox
Scrolls.
says maybe Elder Scrolls.
It's not. That game is barely in development. That game won't start active development until after Starfield comes out.
Xbox anticipates that 3 future titles. It doesn't say if it's going to be future immediate or future distant, but they just say they only anticipate right now 3 future titles being Xbox exclusive, all of which are designed to be played primarily alone or in small groups, will be exclusive to Xbox and PCs.
It's still too far out.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
So wait, when they specifically mean ZeniMax games?
They're ZeniMax games. They're going to be ZeniMax games.
I could see the Indiana Jones one being part of that. That seems the most likely choice, although I would imagine that being a licensed game, LucasArts would want it on as many platforms as possible.
Yeah, but are ZeniMax making them?
Yes. It's being developed by Bethesda.
Oh, that's right. Possible. I can see that.
Okay, upcoming Bethesda games.
All right.
We have Starfield.
Let's put that on the screens because I want to see this so that we can debate this together. Oh, it's getting dark. Darkest night of the year has already happened. Yay!
No.
Yes. That was
This
my
is
birthday.
from Games Radar.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Starfield.
Okay. We know that that's one of them.
Yes, that's okay. First half of 2023.
We know Redfall is.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 is again. I think you underestimate how far away that game is. That game, I will be over the hill before that game comes out.
Oh, that's not. No.
I have a sticky note around.
By the way,
here.
speaking of when over the hill when these games come out this week, the Beyond Good and Evil 2 officially crossed Duke Nukem Forever as the
Oh,
longest
really?
game still in development.
Wow.
Yeah. They swear it's still in development. 2024 Crazy Chaos says 2024 Elder Scrolls, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
I remember I had previously, I think we had a sticky note where I had said like 2025 was my guess for when that game comes out.
Yeah, did you have a sticky note or is it AC Wraith has the sticky note?
No, I have the sticky note.
Oh, where is it?
I think it's in my important documents box.
Right next to your taxes in your
Yeah.
W-2s. These are predictions.
Literally, yes.
Thank you. GameHounds 564. MS purchase of ZeniMax Bethesda. Chaos claims new Elder Scrolls in 3 years or less. Nick says 5.
When did that come out though?
Regardless. What was 564? I could look that up.
Regardless, I am extending my assumption. It will not be out for at least another 3 years.
GameHounds 565. Edie gives 0 fucks. Nick Elder Scrolls 2024. Edie 2024 fiscal. Andrew 2023.
Yeah, no.
No, I think 2024.
23?
I think 2024 is a good guess.
No.
I still stand by that.
I
think
I'm
2024
extending-
fiscal is an even better guess.
I'm extending it to 2026.
And funny, you were the one that said, no, you said 2024. Andrew was saying it was going to be sooner. I gave myself the longest a period of time. So even right now, we still could be right. If it's early 2025, like the first quarter 2025, then I'm still in. Not first fiscal quarter, but the first, calendar quarter of 2025. I'm still right. I'm a genius. Chaos says I wanted to be different. And Chaos also said they launched Fallout 4 3 months after the announcement. I'm still in the running. You are. We're all still in the running. I think Nick is being incredibly pessimistic. I think that it's way, way farther along than you think it is.
No, not at all. So this also says Fallout 5, which is mainly just speculation that, hey, they're making another one.
I think they're definitely making another one.
So in 2022, Howard confirmed that Fallout 5 will come after Elder Scrolls 6. And Elder Scrolls 6 is still in pre-production.
Elder Scrolls 5 will come out after.
Fallout 5 will come after.
Sorry, Fallout 5
Scrolls
will come
6.
out after Elder Scrolls 6. I agree with that completely.
That's a long time. So Indiana Jones game, which was announced in 2021.
Really, that's that long ago?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to walk away because I have to turn on the lights in here because it's getting dark and dark.
Okay, wait. When was this article made? This article was made in November.
Christian Kale says, I hope they backtrack to old skills in Fallout 5. Me too. I hope they don't make it multiplayer like Fallout 76. That was horrible.
Okay, there's also speculation within this article from November that it would be an Xbox exclusive.
Possible. So yeah, that could be the third.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the Indiana Jones game.
That was the most cited of the guesses of the, netverse, the gamerverse, was that it was Indiana Jones. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I like the fact that we were able to bring up the argument about Elder Scrolls. I still think I'm right. I think we are going to see it fiscal 2024. I think we're going to see it. I'm staying fiscal 2024, but I will say I would not be surprised if Andrew is right and it's calendar 2024.
No.
Chund.
Anyways, so yeah, what was the argument that they were making about those 3 games?
Said the argument that they cited of why you shouldn't worry about Call of Duty, which is where I guess Sony and the FTC have planted their flag as the reason to hold, which I think is a terrible reason, terrible argument to plant it on Call of Duty, because that actually, if you can prove that it's not going to be an issue, then it goes through.
Yeah, and
But
I forget what I think it might have been Waypoint again. They've been on a roll with super good interviews lately.
mhm.
They were talking about someone was talking about oh no, it was probably Phil Spencer on The Verge.
Mhm.
And he was saying, no, we're not buying Activision for Call of Duty. That competes in the console space. We're already really competitive in the console space. Like, yes, it will help, but like it's not this make or break thing that Sony is making it out to be. What we bought Activision for was Candy Crush, because we have no presence on mobile.
Oh.
He's like, we don't have any presence on mobile games. This gives us one of the biggest mobile games. Like, that's why we're really doing it. That's the advantage.
God.
That's what makes it worth the money.
Here's how to make it all go away. Acquire the company and agree ahead of time that they will sell the Call of Duty IP. And all of a sudden this whole thing goes away. That's why it was a really, really bad idea for Sony and, well, for the FTC to pick up on Sony's argument about Call of Duty, because once you've kind of made it about Call of Duty, once you eliminate that, then there's no other argument you can make. But anyway, here's their counter argument about the whole Call of Duty thing. And it makes a very good point. The complaints reference to Microsoft's recent acquisition of ZeniMax, a set of gaming studios acquired in 2020, has no relevance to the current transaction. After that transaction closed, ZeniMax's first 2 new games were made exclusive to PlayStation for 1 year post-launch. Xbox anticipates 3 future titles, Redacted, and Redacted, all of which were designed to be played primarily alone or in small groups, will be exclusive to Xbox and PCs. But consistent with its historic approach, Xbox has continued to release new updates of existing ZeniMax games such as Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online on both Xbox and PlayStation, because these games, and here's where it comes down to, these games are designed to be played together by broad communities of gamers on different platforms. This last set of games is one most analogous to Call of Duty. So the ZeniMax experience cuts against the idea that Xbox would make that game exclusive.
Okay, so the argument is basically big multiplayer games on multi-platform.
We want them to be multi-platform. And single player games or small group games don't need to be multi-platform, because that's and as evidenced by the fact that we're making, like, out of the ZeniMax thing, they pointed like, oh, you made 3 of their games out of ZeniMax. Most recent, the most recent 3 games out of ZeniMax are all going to be Xbox exclusive. They're going to do the same thing with Call of Duty, and they're saying it's different kind of game.
Okay,
I'm assuming that it's Redfall. Not Firewatch. What are the three? Uh,
Starfield and
Starfield,
Indiana Jones.
Redfall, and Indiana Jones are all small group single player games.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fair
And
argument.
additionally, big multiplayer games that we've had of ZeniMax's, we have released and continue to support on both systems, like Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Both of those games are big multiplayer games, more like Call of Duty than these single player games that we made exclusive.
Mhm.
And we didn't make those guys exclusive because we want more people to be playing them. We don't want to make them exclusive.
I get that, but I feel like
It's a good, compelling argument.
There's a little bit of like a slipping and sliding around in the fact that it's always easier to make something coming up exclusive than it is to take something that's already multi-platform and take it away. Like, oh, of course,
True.
we're going to continue to support these multi-platform games because they're already multi-platform. But it's so much easier to then, oh yeah, Elder Scrolls Online 2 is just Xbox exclusive. Like that's way easier to do.
Right. But
So it's a bit of a wiggle room.
it
Like,
is a bit of a
it's
wiggle
not the
room. It's not a
strongest argument.
one-to-one argument. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But they aren't wrong in that it serves no good purpose to make a massive multiplayer online game like Call of Duty console exclusive, because one of the things that kills those kinds of games is a lack of players. They
Mhm.
want to make sure
True.
everybody can play it, because the more bodies, the better. The lack of bodies will absolutely spell the death of that game. So they're not wrong in that argument. In fact, looking at those arguments not from a political or kind of wishy-washy, like who's making what argument for what reason. If you look at the two arguments of Sony says this shouldn't go through because they'll make Call of Duty exclusive, and Xbox saying we have no good reason. In fact, all the bad reasons to do that. Microsoft's argument is empirically stronger. It's more common sense than Sony's argument.
Yeah, like it makes sense, like you said, common sense.
Which bothers me because you're right. They're making good sense, which is why you should have not hung this whole complaint by the FTC on that.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the gamers that filed the federal lawsuit that made the most compelling argument. Let me see if I can go back to find that, what they wrote. Hold on a second. 10 gamers. Here we go. Will create a monopoly in the video game industry. Will give Microsoft far outsized market power in the video game industry with the ability to foreclose rivals, limit output, reduce consumer choice, raise prices, and further inhibit competition. So from the sound of the 10 gamers that filed that suit in federal court, they're making a better argument.
Yeah, they're doing an
It's a more
expansive.
general argument, but it's more accurate
Yeah.
and harder to fight.
And yeah,
So-
chaos is true that Call of Duty is still important. That, you know, if you make it exclusive, that could very easily cinch a console war. And yeah, it's definitely big enough to worry. It does sway people's decisions. It's a hard thing to say. Like, I know Call of Duty is big. I don't think it's as big of a like this game will single-handedly sway the industry that Sony makes it out to be.
I never said that was true, and I still think
yeah.
that's a bad argument to make.
Yeah, but like I still think this merger is a bad idea for the future of Xbox. I think I think it will. I'm afraid it would ruin what makes Game Pass good, and I'm afraid of what an executive other than Phil Spencer would do with that kind of market power.
See, that is a valid argument that it creates, like those 10 gamers said, far outsized market power in the video game industry that will with the ability to foreclose rivals, limit output, reduce consumer choice, raise prices, and further inhibit competition. That is why it's a bad idea for this
Yeah.
acquisition. That is the reason.
Like-
However, they use this one game as being like, oh, but it's all about Call of Duty, and it's not. They could have made that argument better by actually saying the real reason why it's a problem. Instead,
Yeah.
they kind of created this straw man, which gives Microsoft an ability to counter it. It is so easy to solve this.
Yeah.
It is so easy to solve this. Agree to sell Call of Duty to Ubisoft. They'd buy it.
Because I think
Yes, they would.
Phil Spencer isn't interested in like flexing that market share power. He's not interested in using it aggressively, but someone else very well might be.
Oh, yes. Google no longer says don't be evil.
Yes.
That was why we gave them all that data, is because they promised they wouldn't be evil.
And like the ironic thing is, if you want to see like what they could do if they flex their market share aggressively, you could just look at Sony, who often pays a lot of developers to make things exclusive. Like all the Final Fantasy is going to be exclusive. Both I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake series is exclusive. Final Fantasy 16 is exclusive. Death Stranding is a third-party studio, but it's exclusive to PlayStation. Like,
if you want to see what how evil a publisher owning the company, the developer, et cetera, will be, all you have to do is look at Nintendo. About how Nintendo won't even let creators like review shit and will shut them down. Like will violate DMCA and do a DMCA notice on people that are innocently making content that is absolutely fair use, but they'll still do it. Incidentally, by the way, we talked about that last week about that content creator that was talking about a game that was pitched but never taken, the Heroes of Hyrule.
Oh, no. I didn't hear about
Maybe
that.
you weren't on that show. I did that show by myself. Well, let me see if I can remember the details. Somebody would remember it here. What was the name of the creator that they do essentially history of gaming pieces, documentaries, content on YouTube. And they were given access to a deck that was pitched 21 years ago to Nintendo about a game called Heroes of Hyrule. Or it was related to it. Something like that. And Did You Know Gaming? Thank you very much. Did You Know Gaming? And it was, like documents showing that it was kind of fleshed out. And it's like, isn't it interesting? And Sony and Microsoft Nintendo passed on that. But isn't this interesting that this almost was a thing? Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. And Nintendo filed a DMCA takedown notice on Did You Know Gaming for talking about it.
Wow.
Even though it was a game that, one, they didn't make, and two, was 21 years ago, and it was a documentary. And they filed DMCA. It was absolutely fair use, but still they filed the DMCA. That backfired. That backfired big time. The Nintendo community, the Zelda community, turned on Nintendo fast and hard, so much that Nintendo had to back off. That's the first time I've ever seen Nintendo back off. But this was also the biggest backlash of, because let's face it, the Nintendo crowd is a little, loyal, overly loyal, to say the least. And this was the first time that they finally crossed the line and pissed off a very large amount of the community, so much so that they had to back off. But that's a good a good example of when we're talking about how the ethos of a company can change and turn evil. That's the example of that. Of that, like, they just, because they're exclusive, because all of this stuff is exclusive, because they have complete and total control over it, they will come down on things and essentially break the law by filing DMCA notices. They're kind of evil. And this is that kind of demonstrating your power to come down on everyone just because you can, is exactly what maybe not Microsoft today, but the Microsoft of the future could absolutely do.
Yeah.
So I'm like I said, I'm still kind of pissed that they're using this Call of Duty straw man argument that is ultimately the fact that they made that choice ultimately means Microsoft will win this. It's just the question is, how are they going to win it? Are they going to win it by just arguing a good point, or are they going to win it by making concessions to the point of where, like, maybe even they sell the property and then it all goes away and then no one can stop it other than the 10 gamers who filed the lawsuit. So, Nintendo goes after fan-made custom Steam icons with DMCA takedowns.
Wow.
Yeah,
Custom-made Steam icons.
They have lost. Nintendo has lost its ever fucking mind. Absolutely lost their minds. And not even pretending to care at this point. Yeah. So, I guess that was that part of that shit. Oh, darn. I guess we're 2 hours in. We're probably safe. The other,
That was only the second time. That was only the second one. There was 3, right?
No.
Okay.
No. There's not a limit. It's 1.
Oh.
They will shut you down at 1.
I thought it was like if you said something 3 times within the first.
That's
blah,
Beetlejuice.
Blah, blah. Beetlejuice.
No!
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
Candyman. Candyman. Is there any other one?
Slenderman.
Slenderman? Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Let's.
Okay. I have a.
No. I got
story.
one more that's related.
Okay. I've got a fun, completely unrelated one.
Okay. Then I'm gonna have to run myself out of stories.
Okay. Do it.
So it was I want to say maybe it was yesterday. It's fairly recent. Is that there has been, well, I should say previous to just recently, there has been kind of rumors about that Redfall is going to be targeted for an early May release date. Well, Windows Central has now corroborated this. They added that some of the editions of the game is going to grant early access to the game up to a week early. Now, Windows Central is not Microsoft, but it's yet another source with enough juice to say we're hearing it as well from our sources. So if that early access happens, that could mean as late as could mean as early as late April, which would that was similar to what they did with Forza Horizon 5, the premium edition. If you bought the premium edition, you got into the game a couple of weeks early. So Redfall was originally scheduled to release in summer of, I guess technically last year now, 2022. It got delayed to the first half of 2023, but now there have been multiple sources that are independently hearing the rumor that it was be early 20. It's going to be the first half, so early May is going to be the date that comes out. And I'm kind of interested in Redfall. It looks kind of cool. But so gird your loins, because I mean that's going to make for a very, very, very interesting first half of 2023, because both Starfield and Redfall are both slated to come out at that time. Now we haven't heard anything about Starfield, but Redfall is the one that's getting kind of some talk about an actual date that's more than just first half.
I expect I could see Redfall in like May and Starfield more over the summer.
I could see Redfall in May, and well, they said first half of 2022. So that would be June at the latest if they're going to do that. I could see them being smart and going like,
I mean,
late June, early July.
Also, more than that, I 90% expect Starfield to be Microsoft's big end of year game.
Possible. Entirely possible. Could be Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I guess actually wait, when did
Chaos says Redfall looks cool, but the more it's delayed, the more worried I become.
Okay, Elden Ring came out at the end of February, which was also right around the same time that Horizon Forbidden West came out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance that Starfield could be like their big early game, but also I don't know. I expect Starfield is still in the midst of solid development. I will be look, at this point, I am surprised when any Bethesda game comes out. They take so long working on things. I expect every game to come out 6 months after it's released.
Yeah, I can see that. AC Ray says Starfield seems to be the only upcoming AAA game I'm semi-interested in. I'm semi-interested in them all. Just more of them slightly more interested than others.
I'm interested in Redfall because I know it will be free on Game Pass. So there's like no barrier for me to try it out.
Yeah. And AC Wraith, you get serious points here. He says cursing is limited to job interview samples. And it's so funny because as soon as I heard about this new YouTube rule, that was the first thing that I remembered was going into that job interview and that guy firing up, oh, you got a podcast? Yeah, here's my podcast, GameHounds.net. Okay, let me listen to it. I didn't get a call back. Actually, I did get a call back. I didn't get the job.
You got the call back?
No, that actually was the callback. That was the callback. I didn't get the job.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
GameHounds will never be the same. Well, it might. You know what will be the same is when Nick and I are actually on Twitch, because that's the nice thing about Twitch. You can drop all the bombs. You have no problem with saying that on stuff.
Yeah.
Chaos says he's excited for Forspoken.
I'm also interested in Forspoken.
Interested, yeah.
I'm interested in it, but also I have so many things in the backlog, and it only keeps getting bigger.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even touched Bannerlord in a month.
And see, I'm deep into Midnight Suns, which is a long game. I also got for Christmas Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is another tactics game that's pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
I bought over Black Friday Horizon Forbidden West and Dying Light 2, which are huge. And I will probably 90% buy Bannerlord on sale before, for Christmas sale before it expires.
Yeah, you need to buy that because you and I need. Yeah.
But see, I don't want to buy it on PC.
It's really going to be better on PC for you. Seriously, it's
I
going to be
don't-
much better on PC.
But
I know you want to buy it on, but it's really, it's a bit like, I think I told you, it's like Kerbal Space Program. Yeah, you could play it on console or Sims. Sims is another good example. You could absolutely play it on console. Was it a great experience? No, absolutely not. Christy Cow says, I have no hope for dialogue in that game, but the magic looks so fun.
I know there was a demo that came out that a couple press people got to play, and I heard them talking about it on podcasts. And I think your issues with the dialogue are overblown. I think the marketing made it seem a lot more quippy than it actually is. So, Andrew, I think you'll be okay.
AC Ray says, I got Arcana Heart 3, Love Max 6 stars, Extend with all DLC, Cat Quest 2, Cat Maze, Dunk Lords, Lego DC Supervillains with all DLC, Marvin's Mittens, Super Blood Hockey, Zakaria Pinball Expert Pack, and Zombie Rollers Pinball Heroes. Is that your backlog, or did you just buy those? By the way, what did anybody buy? Has anybody bought anything or gotten
He just
anything
got those. He says his cousins were nice enough to give him those Steam gift cards while the sale is still on.
Nice. And Chaos says, Tarkov just wiped. Let's go! Hurt me, Tarkov daddy. Oh, I love to watch. Tarkov is like Rust. I really, really enjoy myself watching Rust creators.
Oh, wow. Andrew just got an index. The Steam VR.
Oh.
That's the $1,000. Do you have a room? Do you now have a dedicated VR room?
Oh, Chaos. Flex a little. Congratulations. Will you tell us all about it?
Yeah.
Because he says, I have a bedroom.
I have a bedroom.
Wow. So, did you get that for yourself, or did someone buy that for you? Because if they did, that's a really nice friend or family member. It's been my goal, and I would like to, have a unique VR room. Yeah. So one of the reasons why one of the many reasons why I don't have VR is because I know something within the book.
He doesn't have a bedroom. He has a clear capsule like what Neo comes out of in the Matrix.
He says, "Oh, I bought it for myself."
That's why it's in his bedroom, so that he can plug in on the bed and then go into VR.
Yep. What else have I got for you? Do I have any others? Do you have any other items?
I don't know. But you asked what people bought. What did you buy? Did you get anything on sale over the Christmas and Thanksgiving?
Nope. I didn't buy anything. I mean, farming simulator, but that was it. I did not get any. And I think that I did that. I defeat myself because I go looking for things and I put them on my wish list. And then when they come on sale, I don't buy them. I should say when there's big sales, I don't go on and buy them. And then eventually I one night have a couple too many drinks and it's like, oh, I'm just fucking going to buy it. And then I buy it, pay full price. And I really should just, because I have been, I want to say burnt by sales, but because I've purchased so many games that I thought I really, really, really wanted and then didn't ever play them, I'm so leery of sales because they're such a good price. They're so cheap. I should just do them. I should just give in. But yeah. So I did not get anything. Anybody else? What did you get for Christmas, or did anybody buy anything for you? Chenderbox says, I bought AMD video card for my daughter and got the Callisto Protocol and Uncharted Legacy of Thieves for free. Ooh. I'm interested. What was it? Something about Callisto. Oh yeah, people are getting.
Oh yeah, I was looking. That was also part of the YouTube demonetization, right? Is like
Yes.
violent images,
Yes.
and
So
so people
streamers that are
playing
streaming
through.
Callisto Protocol are getting demonetized.
Yeah.
It's like Google doesn't know how to run I wish I had billions of dollars to start a streaming platform. I mean, like not streaming. Twitch does fine. Twitch is bad, but it's fine. It's better than YouTube, but
Twitch is fine for what it is. Their problem is that they want more.
they want right.
They want more
They
money.
also don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know how to treat their creators properly. And God, there's a part of me that's like, if some company had enough money and not their heads firmly up their backsides, they could probably eat both of those companies' lunches right now. Xbox, God, what was Xbox's streaming company?
Oh, Mixer?
Mixer is a perfect example of why or I should say Twitch is a perfect example of why you need competition, because Twitch was really, really good when Mixer was around. But as soon as Mixer went down, all of a sudden Twitch started to really abuse their content creators.
What was the Cephas protocol? AC Ray says I always confuse the Callisto protocol with the Cephas protocol.
I don't know what the Cephas protocol is. I will have to look
And-
it up on
and-
YouTube.
Chaos says that the Callisto protocol has not had a fun time at all.
Oh, really? I haven't
think-
heard that.
Oh, Chaos, maybe you can give us more details. I saw something that like the PC version was not doing very well. Like it crashed, it was buggy.
All right, here's the Cephas protocol. Yeah, very different.
Oh, yeah, I
not
kinda-
Callisto protocol.
I kind of like this art though. This is cool art.
It looks like, I guess it's story based.
Yeah, skip ahead some.
Okay.
What is this? Is this like a choose your own adventure type of thing?
It looks like it very well might be.
Complete visual novel. I like the art. What is it about? Oh. Thank you, AC Wraith.
All right. So yeah, that's what the Cephas protocol is. Without wrecking any stories. And there is the link for it. Chunderbox says, breaking news, Edie Sellers Farming Sim playlist revealed. Yeah. But that you do have my $1 billion idea for creating a absolute make money hand over fist playlist of get a farming simulator expert to run a farm with $1 million. You start out with $1.5 million in January. I'll give you 4 years to see what you can do with it. Pretty much the largest meh to have ever met reviewers. Really, I have not read the reviews of Callisto. Like across the board, Chaos says. They have the Dead Space remake coming out that even if you really need Dead Space graphic horror, then literally just wait. Finally, it can't even be streamed now. Yeah. Yeah. So, loving the game so far. Really? Oh, Chenderbox says he's loving the game so far.
I'm interested in playing it. It looked neat, but maybe not like $60 neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty stingy with my $60. I used to be like, $60. I'm getting pretty stingy about that these days. And it's not that I have a reason to, other than I'm trying to save money for other things that I want more.
Yeah, which is fair. I feel like, oh man, what games did I buy new this year? I bought Elden Ring day one. and I
Mhm.
bought God of War day one.
Mm-hmm.
Elden Ring was absolutely worth it. God of War, eh. Midnight Suns was a gift. I mean, I bought most of the games I bought like day one
Mm-hmm.
were not $60 games. Maybe Deathloop? Maybe I bought Deathloop.
Is that a game?
Yeah,
Oh no,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
that
yeah.
was one
I'm
of the
sorry. I'm
Bethesda
thinking Death
ones.
Note. I'm like, they turned Death Note into
Oh
a
yeah.
game.
Yeah, man, this is weird to look at.
Hmm.
The list of games that I keep a list of all the games that I play over a year.
Really,
And
you
yeah.
do. Look at
Oh
you,
yeah.
all organized.
Oh yeah. I have a list of games to keep track of, games to play with Edie, and games of 2022, games of 2021,
What
games
are
of
the games to play with
2020.
Edie? Because you know, you and I have to play a game because we were supposed to play one last Wednesday and we didn't.
It Takes Two is one, and I have Stray on here because Ezio Helsing kept suggesting it, but I know that's only one player.
Right.
But It Takes Two is at the top.
You want to play It Takes Two tonight? Is it on Game Pass?
I don't think so. I don't have it.
I don't have it either. So one of us has to buy it. Or one of us has to buy it and pay the other one half. There's also Chivalry. I mean, we were supposed to be playing Chivalry on last Wednesday, but we didn't because I totally forgot.
Oh, right. I would totally play that.
AC Ray says Warframe, Edie. Warframe is on our list. I'm checking something here. Man, you it's been years. You may have just worn me out. Because you're trying, as I recall, I tried Warframe again and found it to be meh. Nick really didn't like it.
Yes, I found it to be very meh.
Yeah, no, you found it to be you were oh. Did you send me? Oh, thank you, Nick, for the Christmas present.
Oh, you're welcome.
I just got my Christmas present from you. Thank you.
Oh.
Yes, it's Steam. So let me check the store. I'm just checking Warframe. Don't get your knickers in a knot. Just checking. And the winter sale is still going on. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got January 5th, so it's got some time.
What are you looking for? I'm looking for It Takes Two on various services.
I am looking at Warframe. It is Windows only.
Oh shit. I think It Takes Two actually is on Game Pass.
Is it?
Oh, it is.
Well,
Oh,
that makes that answered.
holy cow. Okay. That
AC Ray says Edie suggested we play around Christmas and then somehow didn't want to talk about it when it was time. What can I say?
Anyways, the one news story that I had,
Hail Warframe, thank you, bitters. You were saying, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the one news story that I had was just a fun news story from How Long to Beat. And part of this story involves the kind of people that record their games on howlongtobeat.com, which
Mhm.
is a website that you can go to see like average time of how long it takes to beat a game.
Mhm.
So, in a funny stat, of all the games recorded on howlongtobeat.com in 2022,
Mhm.
Elden Ring was the number one most completed game. 5.9 thousand people, 6,000 people recorded completing Elden Ring.
Mhm.
The next highest game was Stray with only 4,000.
Interesting.
So interesting that how long a game has Elden Ring is the most completed. But you know what it also was? Elden Ring was also the most abandoned game of 2022.
That doesn't
So
surprise me at all.
more people completed Elden Ring than any other game on How Long to Beat, but also more people stopped playing it, which is an interesting stat. That seems like it's tough to do.
It does, but knowing Elden Ring, it makes absolute sense.
It was the
really
most.
does.
It was the most game.
It was the most game of 2022.
There's an article on Kotaku that was basically like 2022 was the year of Elden Ring.
It
was
was.
all anyone could talk about.
It was absolutely. God of War kind of at the end, but really, hour for hour, Elden Ring dominated absolutely everything. Case in point, I played so many games on Twitch this year. So many games on Twitch. More games. I've streamed more games than I have ever streamed before. And the one show that actually got the most amount of response and resonance within people that weren't just GameHounds fans was the Millennia fights that you did. It wasn't even the whole game. It was just it was quite a long time because
It
the
was
Millennia
the
fights
end
takes
of the
a while.
game, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's because not only did everybody everybody was playing it, everybody was talking about it, but moreover, everybody wanted to watch it, even when they weren't playing it.
Oh, Chaos says he still needs to fight her. Hey, you know
You want to
what?
stream it on our channel?
I will boot it up and come help you with it.
Really? Can I watch?
Sure.
Fuck, I would. Okay, we're 3 hours in at this point. I would absolutely be there for that. I would not only watch it with you, I would stream it again because
he's on PC. It's not crossplay.
Oh,
that's
bummer.
okay. I'll buy it on PC and I will come in as a level 1 character to help you. I will run up to her with my little club and bat naked and I will.
You know what? If you do that, I'll buy it. And we'll both go in together and help him with our little level 1 bats. That would be funny as hell.
Yes.
Because I would be vaporized instantly everywhere. But can you even get to Melania at the level 1?
Oh, I'm sure you can. It's just really hard.
Nightbot just slapped Chaos. Good old Nightbot. He's still there. He's still roaming about. Because listen, if you buy it on PC, we do the co-op Elden Ring mod. Is there a co-op Elden Ring mod? What's the mod? Tell me about this co-op. I mean, I happily say that I am completely ignorant about most things Elden Ring because I'm like the one gamer who did not play Elden Ring because I'm the one gamer who knew I would hate every minute of it. Oh no, Nightbot. Nick, stop making Nightbot angry. We are allowed to yell. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can
funny.
I like exclamation mark permit creation chaos?
You already did. What are you trying to do now? It only permits
type
links.
in
Okay.
Type in what AC Wraith did.
And what are you hoping to do? All right, so now that we're done those, let's
it grants him permission to do links. That's what it does.
Right, it allows him to do links for 60 seconds. So, anyway, any other stories or news items before we close out the show? I mean, because it is 5:00. My dogs really need to go out.
There's a really interesting interview with Hideo Kojima on IGN. That's just like interesting overview of his career. One of the highlights was him talking about how uh, he was really worried about releasing Metal Gear Solid 2 after 9/11 because the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 has a giant ship crash into the port of
Mhm.
Manhattan. And he was freaking out about that. And he went to one of his like supervisors or bosses and he told them, "Hey, we have this scene where a boat crashes into Manhattan. Like, what do we do?" And the room was like silent. Nobody would tell him what to do, except for one guy who's like, I'll work with you. Listen, don't worry about it. By the time when this game comes out, like it'll put you on the map, it'll put me on the map. Like this game is going to be really great. No one's going to like talk about this disaster at the end. And so that I guess Kojima was like so afraid of it, he thought about quitting the industry over it.
Wow.
But thankfully he was talked down by this guy. I forget his name. Let me see if I can get the name.
Yeah, the guy deserves some mad props for keeping Kojima in the game. Not just the game itself, but in the making video games game.
Yeah, Kagemasa Kozukai. He was the chairman of Konami at the time.
Man, remember when Konami used to be not evil? Case in point,
Mm-hmm.
evil corporations can change.
So I guess one of the reasons that it hit Kojima hard is he says, "I always end up in an awful state when I finish making a game. After the first Metal Gear Solid, even after it was done, I wasn't recovering at all, then ended up being passed from one hospital to the next. Mr. Kazuki was the only one who worried about me then. Looking back, I feel like he showed more concern for me than anyone whenever I was having trouble." So take that stress that exists for him after any game, couple that with this disaster with Metal Gear Solid 2,
Oh god,
and
I'm
you could
sure
see
he's
it
like
kind of
losing
like,
hair at that point.
yeah.
Poor guy. But he made it through, and he's a
Yeah.
legend.
And hey, he's working on Death Stranding too, which cool.
Left 4 Dead 2 is 99 cents right now on the Steam game game
Is it
sale.
really?
That's crazy. Anyway, anything else before we close out the show?
No.
All right. So hold on a second. Come on, you. Where am I? Need to do this. All right, then. Let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 664. We did record this on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2023. I'm Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick Nicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website. GameHounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and on Twitch. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, V-I-D-S, as in videos, all one word. And on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. Please feel free to join us. We would love to have you listen to us live. By the way, thanks to everybody in the chat room. You guys are awesome today. Chaos and Chandrabots and AC Wraith, our link bitch, who provides all the links for everything that we talk about in all in the chat of both YouTube and Twitch. Thank you so much for being there. Nightbot, you can go below me. Who was we had Bitters, it was in here. We had Blood Reaper in here. Thanks so much for being here. If I missed your name, I'm so sorry. Thank you for being here. But join us next week if you'd like, because we'll be here and we hope you are too. If you ever want to listen to our show after the fact, you can go to both of those locations as videos. Or if you want to listen to us as a podcast, we do release this show as an audio podcast on most places where you get podcasts. iTunes, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Play, Alexa, and all those devices. Just wherever you go for a podcast, that's where we are. You can find us as GameHounds Podcast there. And if you do download us as a podcast, please leave us some feedback so people know that we're there and we can see the feedback and make things better if we can. Have a great week, everyone. Happy New Year. Please stay safe. If you're in the East Coast, please stay inside and stay warm and don't go out in your car because snowdrifts are bad and can kill you. And if you're in the West Coast, please don't drive into puddles that you don't know how deep it is because seriously, there's a lot of cars and people that are floating down the river because they did exactly that. Have a great week, everyone. We will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And podcast is off. We are still on the show. Oh, we still got a banner up. Darn it. I thought I got the banner. So, tonight, sir.
Yes.
Takes Two? Or are we going to go buy it on PC, go buy Elden Ring on PC and try and play it?
Oh, no, that sounds like way too much work because that involves mods.
Yeah, what is update the I will. Thank you. I know. I literally get an hourly message about post the podcast, and I know I've fallen horribly behind, but I will. Oh, thank you for reminding me about Discord, everyone. If you're watching Discord, please join us. Love to have you there. Dogs are up and moving because they heard the closing out of the show. The mod is super easy. What is the mod? Oh, it makes the game super easy?
No, it makes the game co-op.
Oh.
So I can join your game, you can join my game.
Really? I would totally play Elden Ring if it was co-op. I would totally play Elden Ring if it was co-op.
It's $40.
No, modding the game is super easy, yeah. Yeah, it is $40. Is it $40 right now on Steam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $41.99. It's 30% off. And what else is it? Oh, it is only Microsoft Windows, so I would have to play it on my Windows machine. I could do that. I do have tomorrow off of work. Oh, that's right. Nick, I forgot. We were talking about the book club. Do we want to do the book club?
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Chaos, were you here for that? For the idea of the book club? By the way, Chaos says, instead of the normal join system, it changes it to be true co-op. Everyone shares progression. If you die, you stay in the game together. There's some balancing stuff and some other things that get whack, but it's the best way to play. Steam has an antitrust. Really? Somebody filed an antitrust lawsuit against Steam? Oh, yeah. Okay. You didn't hear about this. But I think everybody else in the chat room might have already heard about it. Is that Nick has mentioned that he's kind of always wanted to read the Witcher series. And I'd said that I'd kind of always wanted to read the Witcher series. And then I posed the idea of maybe having a GameHounds book club where we all kind of read the Witcher series together, and you like meet up maybe in Discord once a week and just kind of like talk about, like, make sure that we're reading the same thing and talk about what's going on and essentially have like a Witcher nerd boy gal moment. The Brandon Sanderson book club, pass. Thank you. No. Yeah, see, Bitter says, if you read it, I'll read it. I'm the same way. Like, I'm not going to go out and get The Witcher and read the whole series if I'm the only one that's reading it. Maybe I will, but I've got other things that usually like continuations of series of books that I'm reading right now. But if kind of Nick wants to read it and kind of I want to read it, we kind of always wanted to read it but never got around to it. If we all get around to it together, we will all read it and, like, hang out and talk about it and see what's there. because Nick, I guess apparently it's a really good series, right? Is that what you've heard?
Oh yes, like I've heard good
See,
things about it.
Chaos says, I've been wanting to read The Witcher too. Say exactly. All of us have all said we kind of sort of want to read The Witcher, but we never get around to it because either we're not reading it because we don't read that much, or we're not reading it because we got kind of other things we're reading right now. But if we all have a book club, we will all read it together and be able to discuss it, which is super fun. And meanwhile, have a cocktail or two while we do it. Because that's what book clubs are. Book clubs book clubs are known for their glasses of wine. The ladies get together, get a little bit drunk, and talk about the book. It's an excuse to drink wine, but this isn't actually an excuse to read the book. But I'll be drinking as well. It will depend on what day you want to read. Oh no, we don't read it together. Is that we have we have a meeting and you read it on your own. And then we all get together and talk about the chapter. Usually it's chapters in books is what book clubs do. We all get together and talk about the chapters like, oh my God, can you believe what's happening? What do you think is going to happen? Or essentially just talk about the story in the same way that if we were all playing a video game at exactly the same time, like a really heavy story video game, that we'd all be able to talk about like, ooh, what's about to happen. So we wouldn't read it all the same because that's boring as hell. We just look at each other while we're reading. No, this is you read it on your own time, a certain amount, and then we all come together and talk about it. Essentially school, but like fun. Thank you for the link for that. There are apparently audiobooks as well. See, case in point, you could do the audiobook of the chapter that you want to, if you're not into reading. Like I love to read and I'm not a big fan of audiobooks because my mind tends to wander with audiobooks, but I stay focused with reading. If you wanted to do the audiobook version of it, you could absolutely do the audiobook version of it. And then, however you absorb that chapter, as long as we all doing the same chapter, we can all talk about it. So, Chaos says, only if I can go wild and put water in my wine glass. Of course. We could, mountain go, really, live on the edge and put some Mountain Dew in there. Oh yeah. Little Dr. Pepper. Is it on Amazon? Yes, it is absolutely on Amazon. Let me pull that up.
Yes. If we do it, I would say we start with The Last Wish. Because even though that's a book of short stories are easier to get through.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let me pull up this. So I am also a huge electronic book reader. In fact, I use my Kindle for the iPhone constantly every day. In fact, I should pull up my Kindle list so that you can see it because it keeps stats on how much you read. Let's see if I can see it. I think I have read every single day for the last 6 years, according to Kindle. Like I've never missed a day of reading.
Wow.
So the Kindle edition for the first 3 books
No, that's Dreamwalker.
Oh, that's something else. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So The Witcher, The Last Wish, the audio book is free with the Audible trial.
The ebook is $8.
And
currently.
the ebook is, let's see, the Kindle book is set $8. But I can read it for free, which is kind of cool. Oh, sorry, that's the audiobook. It's for free. The Kindle version, yep, it's not free. Unfortunately, I have the Kindle Unlimited, so I get most of my books for free anyway. But I would happily spend $8 for that. Or if you're into, and $8 for the paperback. Do you want to hear the Audible sample?
Sure, why not?
Let's see.
What's the
Do
difference
I
between
have
paperback and mass market paperback?
I don't know. Tell me if you can hear it.
Beneath his coat, he wore a worn leather
Yes.
jerkin laced up at the neck and shoulders. As he took off his coat, those around him noticed that he carried a sword. Not something unusual in itself. Nearly every man in Vachim carried a weapon. But no one carried a sword strapped to his back as if it were a bow or a quiver.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a good audiobook to listen to. It's obviously well done. So yeah, quality. Sure, that's not going to get you demonetized. I certainly hope not. And this, I would argue that this is actually, I'm not worried about demonetization. I'm worrying about DMCA on that one. But to be quite honest, this would be a critique of whether I thought that was a well done and worthy game for worthy audible audio version. And I am reviewing this audio version now, and I think that is absolutely shows a lot of promise to be a substitute for actually reading the book. If you like that, it certainly seems good and clear. Yeah. I mean, that's possible, but one of the nice things is that reviews and news are a valid fair use, and I was listening to it, a very short piece, to kind of see if it is even something that I would recommend to you as a substitute for actually reading the book. And to be quite honest, the voice in my head when I'm reading a book sounds exactly like that guy. So are you all in on this? I mean,
I would like to. I just don't know the time. Right? Finding the time to do it amongst all other things.
Don't you read on a daily basis?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I
I read a fair amount. A lot of comics. I buy a lot of books.
Yeah, but do you, I mean, why wouldn't you read these short stories if that was an option instead of the
True, the short stories are definitely more easier to do, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I am pulling up to see. What are you looking at?
I broke Edie with that.
No, I am trying to pull up my cloud reader so that and see if I can pull up the stats on my reading. Comics, my library. Okay, that's me. Will it show my stats? Notes and highlights. I don't think I can find it online, but I know I can find it on my phone. See how many years I have read every single day.
That's impressive to do it every single day.
Yeah, before I go to bed, every night. Night. And then sometimes,
Oh, yes.
in the bathroom.
Thank you, AC Ray, for giving us a list of things to also not read.
Things to not read.
All the stuff that I've written.
Let's see. I am on a streak. I have read
Wow.
233 weeks in a row. So you can go back in my, let's see if I can get this out of the way so I can actually see it. If you can see, I can go back, where is it? In the years, and you could see over the years. Oh, there is one. There we are. The 16th I didn't read.
Huh.
Of November. Oh, there was a couple. Oh, those were the days I was traveling for Thanksgiving. So yeah, those were. I tried to read them at night, but it might have been like after midnight that I'd
Yeah.
actually gone to bed.
It looks, there's some gaps in the days, but you've got a streak of weeks.
Yeah. I mean, when you see that I've got like nothing going on here, it's like maybe I
Yeah.
went to bed early that night. That's December 21 last year. I missed 1 year on November. Yeah. But 233 weeks. What's that? How many years is that? Is that 4 years?
52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
That's just over 4 years.
233 divided by 52. That is 4.5 years. 4.48 years. So yeah, that's a thing. So let's table this conversation and we can bring it up next year.
Yes, I will.
Next week.
I will. I'll keep an eye out on this for sure, because sometimes the Witcher books go on sale on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see it go on sale, I will put a notice in Discord and text you.
Good.
You and Andrew.
Yeah. Book Club 2024. Let's go. A Kindle is the worst present I ever gave my wife. Spends more time on it than me. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. A Kindle is pretty freaking awesome. Although I don't own a Kindle, I only own the Kindle app for the iPhone, and it is fine. And on my iPad, the fact that it all syncs across everything, so I can read it on my iPad before I go to bed, and then close it. And then if I'll find myself on the car or on the toilet, I can just pull it up and it syncs completely. Yeah. I have to continue the Dresden Files, Gentleman Bastard series, and Brandon Sanderson's first secret novel just released. Oh, you haven't. Dresden Files hasn't had a new Dresden in years, right? Because Aren't
there a lot of them though?
Yes, I plowed through
Okay.
all of them. I read all of them. I absorbed them like a sponge. Those were so good.
I just know it was a TV show, right?
It was a TV show, but I don't think the TV show was very good. Cass said, "Oh, you thought there was one last year? That's good to know." Because it's been so long though. I really have to go back and read quite a few of them again to relearn the world, because I don't remember the world. And Casey House says, "I have an old Kindle Ink. It's kind of awesome." Hey, you can fire that thing up and read the Witcher series with us. The Dresden comics were really good. I've heard that as well. He said there was going to be like 20. I thought there was close to 20 of them right now. And Blood Reaper says, I need to read Aliens Felon.
How do you pronounce that word?
Phalanx.
Phalanx?
Yes. I have a hard time with that same word. Kind of like vigilance is hard. I had to really, really, really train myself to say vigilance.
As opposed to
vigilance. See, now I've said it, and it's going to take me a while to get back out of it again. All right. I got to go. I mean, it's total dark. Dog is desperately got to poop. I mean, poor buddy. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Hey,
it's full dark, and I have to walk him. So
okay.
I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much for listening.
We will do this year. We will do a book club, and we will stream It Takes Two or Chivalry sometime within the month.
The month?
I don't know. The week? I don't want to like make promises. Okay, we'll stream.
Are you a commitment phobe? Is that your problem?
No. Okay, we'll stream. We'll stream something this week.
Okay,
for sure.
If not sooner.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week. If not sooner. Bye.
Never talk to you again.